Jonathan Taylor. There he goes again. 50, 40, down the far sideline. He might do it again. 10, 5, touchdown. I-N-D-Y.
The Eastern Conference Championship has been captured by the Indiana Pacers.
Alex Pillow wins the 109th Indianapolis 500.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Good morning and welcome into the Fan Morning Show. And we're looking forward to some joint practices with the Green Bay Packers and the Indianapolis Colts a little bit later on today. And Mark is off and running. You might be like at minus 74.5 for the week on that one right there. That's all right.
Can't help it. It's a bad week. It's a bad week for horrible football teams coming to town.
That's how that goes. Good morning, Kevin Bowen. It feels like we're edging closer and closer to football season, and it always seems like the last few days, week or two, just takes forever and ever and ever, doesn't it?
Good morning as well. Appreciate everybody tuning in on this Thursday morning. Mark Dykton, good Jimmy, great listener, reached out to me yesterday and was curious if that sounder will be played on the PA at Grand Park today and or inside of Lucas Oil Stadium on Saturday.
It absolutely better.
Do you have that type of clout?
I don't. You might, maybe. You've been there before. You used to work for the team, but it is Peyton Manning who says it. I mean, I am incorporating, local athletic heroes around this town. That's his words that he says.
Matt Taylor's stick mic today at Grand Park all of a sudden goes over, and Mark Dykton's got a mini speaker that plays that sounder. JJ Stankovitz on Saturday afternoon.
It would just have the Nas Ether beat in the background, and it would just be Packers suckers for 4.5 minutes.
Perfect. It does feel like in August at times. The calendar moves a little slowly, but yeah, it is kind of wild. I mean, August 14th, it's our final day at Grand Park, and honestly, we've had great. I know it's been hot, but fans have been able to watch every single practice. And James, I can't recall the last time we've been at Grand Park and we haven't gone indoors one time. And today looks awesome. Today looks like the best weather day we've had in a while and not like scorching hot there. So looking forward to it. 3 o'clock to 5 today, Colts and Packers at Grand Park.
Looking forward to that. And then kind of an early afternoon game on Saturday with the Packers too, right?
Yep, that's the schedule.
All right, and I got a thing from Steve Campbell at the Colts yesterday who was essentially saying, can you please publicize the traffic situation coming down to the stadium, because there's a lot of construction going on around the city, and he's just worried that people are going to get there late. To make sure you plan for it, go early. But I-65 North between I-465 on the south side and the I-65, I-70 interchange downtown is going to be closed on Saturday. It's going to be closed. I-65 South will remain open. Fans traveling from the south can use a detour I-65 North to I-465 West to I-70 East to downtown to get around that. You can go to I-65safetyandefficiency.com. Is that the most efficient address they could come up with? I-65safetyandefficiency.com to find out more. But that's not all. West Street is going to be reduced to one lane in each direction between 11th Street and Morris Street on the 16th, Saturday, for road resurfacing. Resurfacing operations generally are scheduled at night, but lane restrictions remain in place during daytime hours, including before and following the game. Capitol Avenue will be partially closed in 2 easternmost lanes from Maryland to South Street on August 16th. Who planned all this on a game day?
That sounds like a disaster.
It does.
Hope you all wrote that down. That was a lot.
And we'll put up a link later on today at the fan website. I got this yesterday in the afternoon. We'll put it up on 1075thefan.com. But honestly, does anybody consult anybody on big events happening downtown when you're going to try to close everything off at the same time?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get it done before September 7th. Is that the thought process here?
I suppose.
You'll sacrifice a 30,000 attended preseason game, if that. I have no idea.
Maybe.
Just leave on time. Do that.
Because
leave
you
a little
open
early.
Back-to-back home games.
Right.
September 7th,
Good solution,
September 14th. So, yeah, I have no idea on that.
It's probably
Traffic
a situation
is way
where
above my pay grade, but that sounds awful.
It's probably a situation where it was like the least painful of all possible options. I don't know, but it just doesn't sound like it works very well. In fact, depending on where you're at in different parts of the entire metro area right now, it's almost impossible to get from point A to point B.
Because of the sweat bees or because of something else?
Yes, both.
Oh.
The construction and the sweat bees.
I don't think I've lived here since 2021, and I've never seen downtown without construction. So when I hear that, I'm like, okay, well, that's par for the course.
Oh, everywhere by Brownsburg is like, I feel like every road is under construction.
Yeah.
Even getting over here today, I guess Sam Jones was shut down because there was an oil spill. So it's like, well, got to divert and go to I-70 now.
All right. Well, there's still lots of potholes in the downtown area, though, aren't
That
there?
ain't changing by Saturday.
Yeah, no, I drive looking down in this city more than anywhere else I've ever lived or driven. Seriously. But hey, I still love Indiana.
I saw an actual publication a week ago, and I'll have to go back and look up where it was, claiming that Indianapolis had the best roads of any city in America.
And I heard everybody in Indiana wanted to fight that person that wrote that article.
You heard about the article too, right?
Was it in the Onion?
Yeah.
No, I wish it was in the Onion. It wasn't, though. It was some study that some whack job did somewhere. But I don't know. Maybe everybody complains about their roads everywhere. Who knows? But we have football on tap a little bit later on today up at Grand Park. We're going to be looking forward to that. Fever are off again today. We had a fight between the Sky and the Sun, Mercury last night. Not the Suns, but the Mercury last night.
I missed that.
3 ejections in that one right there. So they're maybe it's summertime, James. Maybe they're just getting chippy. Everybody's getting a little agitated right now. I don't know.
Is today a big day for Caitlin Clark? Does she practice today?
We know anything?
No, I don't.
No, I literally know nothing. I'm asking the question.
I don't even know when they update us on those anymore.
Well, they do have practice today,
Yeah.
and they will practice, I would assume, a good amount here in the next week because it's one of their lighter stretches. They play tomorrow night, they play Sunday, but they don't play Monday through Thursday next week, which, considering how their schedule's gone over the last few weeks, that's not a lot of games, and that's good for Caitlin Clark, you would think. So, I don't know. Scott Agnes joined us at 8:30, and we'll see if there's any Caitlin Clark update at all.
If anybody would know, Scott would. No major games for you to cover last night. No practice, James. What did you do with your evening off last night? Did you get one, or did you just end up writing a bunch of stuff?
No, I didn't really write too much. Saw some friends that I hadn't seen in a while, so
That's good.
that was good.
How about you, KB?
Gosh, boring family time.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
nothing too crazy. We hid Max's dinosaurs, played hide and seek in the yard with those, and ate spaghetti and meatballs, and what do we watch? Shrek? Yeah, I mean, that was about it.
I feel like the pasta menu at the Bowen household is pretty deep. You go fettuccine Alfredo, now spaghetti and meatballs.
I mean, Rosie and I, we eat. Rosie and
Honestly,
the only
though?
quality Rosie has of mine is her love for pasta. Which,
SpaghettiOs?
honestly, when you think about it, I mean, there are worse things to love of Kevin Bowen.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to say pasta is also very easy to make. So
I'm proud that she's
respect.
my daughter.
Super easy.
Are
yeah.
you a SpaghettiOs family?
Not too much SpaghettiOs. They love, Easy Mac. Easy Mac obviously is a very, easy thing to make and channels my
It
inner
better be.
college.
It's in the name.
So yeah, that's probably me. I was a loser. I turned on a little USAM golf later. Reds won. Hunter Green's back. I love it. By the way, do you guys see we're getting TJ McConnell night over at the
like
Victory
that.
Field here in a couple weeks?
Saw that.
like
and
that.
I'm
I
a
wonder
big
if
fan.
does that mean that you have to just get out of your car and get in a defensive stance?
Well, I think it means if the Indians players really want to replicate it, they slide into first base every single time.
Okay.
All small ball.
Okay.
You're just moving runners over. As soon as you get a guy on, boom, bunt, move them over.
And then is there a stolen base in there? Because
Stolen
is that
base
the,
in there?
Stolen bases,
that's the
yeah.
equivalent
Certainly.
of like the stolen inbounds pass?
1,000%. I would assume every out you're pumping up the crowd. All 27 outs.
You lean into a pitch, too?
You are pumping up the crowd. So
Yeah.
TJ McConnell night coming up here in a few weeks at Victory Field. They are on the road a lot here in the month of August. But yes, he'll throw out the first pitch. I want to say it's a Wednesday.
Yep.
Here in a couple of weeks.
I've actually had people sending me emails going, hey, do you have any more information on TJ McConnell night? Is this the
Really?
night that people are excited for that?
Well, it was announced yesterday,
Yeah.
so
No,
those
but
emails must be fresh.
It had been circulating
Oh,
for a few days. So yeah, that's going on.
Jeff does
and
don
the rowdy outfit every once in a while.
You're not supposed to tell people that.
Well,
That's how that goes.
cat's out of the bag now.
you think NBA teams care about schedule release day? Like you think the Pacers? Do you think
I'm
there's
stuck on
anything?
these emails. I want to. Can you read one of these emails? What have they said about TJ McConnell night?
I'm gonna have to go back and look. I might delete them after I read them. But they're just
Ah.
don't you? What do you keep all your emails?
No, I mean the email once it just came in. When was
No,
this?
dude.
When was this
These
email
things
received?
get planned in offices, and some of the news gets out
I
sometimes.
just want to hear what they had to say about TJ McConnell night.
They just want to know what it is. What's going on? I heard there's going to be a TJ McConnell night. I said, I don't know. I'll check into it. And then the announcement comes out.
Okay.
You doubt everything I say all the time. I just make stuff up all the time.
I'm skeptical. I need to see this. Cite your sources.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to side with James on this one. It was announced yesterday afternoon. I'm like, are people really emailing about TJ McConnell?
You think they just decided, hey, let's do TJ McConnell night and announce it like 10 minutes later?
I want to know who he. I just want to see the email. The excitement from the
Try to
fan.
go back and find it somewhere.
I need
but
to see this.
people do care about TJ McConnell.
Yes,
it's
I'm
like,
not doubting
hey,
that.
I've heard that. Do you know anything about it? That's really essentially what it was.
Oh, okay.
That's all. It was a couple days ago.
So people disregarding my NBA schedule thought?
No, I think here's the thing about the NBA schedule. What when the NFL schedule comes out, there's so few games. I think people like to plan their, especially if they're season ticket holders or something like that, or their favorite team is coming to town, or they want to see a particular game. They get really excited about that. But with the NBA, there's so many games. You got 41 home games. You already know you're not a Christmas Day game. You found out when your opening night is going to be. What are the big exciting moments about a schedule release for an NBA team that you're most looking forward to see?
I think there are some legit things that if I were a member of the Pacers organization, I would be keyed on for today. So we can get into that a little bit later.
Yeah,
I think the craziest thing that I saw and this isn't even about the Pacers, it's just the fact that they have a game now listed between the Lakers and the Clippers at 11 p.m. Eastern time start. And I want to say that's the latest game I've ever seen on an NBA schedule. I mean, I've seen the 10:30 p.m. and that always gets me, but 11 is kind of crazy. But it looks like it's going to be a lot of prime games, NBC games, Peacock. You can stream those on Peacock as well. So, yeah, I might have to get used to I'm used to football being like the one where I have to float around to a bunch of different places, and basketball I feel like it's becoming that.
I've always liked it, but I always just thought I was a nerd in that regard. And I got more excited about it than maybe other people.
No, I actually think there is like legit outside of, I like to plan, and outside of, the old coach speak, it's 41 home games and 41 road games. I think there are a couple of legitimate things that if I were a member of the Pacers organization, I would be locked into today.
When's that West Coast trip? How many
and
primetime
even
games?
that stuff, yes, but I think there are some specific things given the nature of this Pacer team. We can get into it, but those are some items that I think I'd be locked into.
When is the Bucks game at Gainbridge?
Well,
That's what I want to know.
That's
a given. Top of mind for me.
That's true. That's fair.
That one's a given.
All
I
right.
prefer that to be on a weekend night.
Okay. Coming up in a minute, we will talk a little bit more about what you would like to see, what you want to see, what you expect to see when it comes to that. When it comes to the joint practices later on today, we've got a lot to do, and we're just looking forward to hanging out with you for the next couple of hours right here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Down on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good Thursday morning. The Indianapolis Colts back on the field today. They will be sharing that field at Grand Park James Boyd with the Green Bay Packers, but not a bunch of star-studded Packer players on that field today, it sounds like.
No, they're extremely banged up. No Jordan Love due to left thumb surgery. So either way, I'll be out there to cover who is available to practice.
Kevin Bowen for the Colts, who needs to have big days or at least really solid days today.
Yeah, and I'll add, too, no Xavier McKinney, arguably their best defensive player for Green Bay. They're down 5 of their top 6 wideouts. So, yeah, it's Jordan Love and some others there. Obviously, quarterback goes without saying. And then, again, we've reached the midway point of August, and I still think a starting job at linebacker is left to be earned, and corner. So how does that play out here? Evaluation points, we're nearing the end of it. This is a big one. Saturday's a big one. And after that, you really only have one big one, and that is Cincinnati a week from Saturday in that final preseason game. So those are some other things that I will be looking for to today.
A couple of moves yesterday. DJ Montgomery goes on the season-ending injured reserve list. What was that all about? Just roster space, or was there a real injury going on there? I don't remember for DJ Montgomery.
There's always a real injury if you're going to injure reserve.
Yeah. Marcus Haynes was picked up as a linebacker, and he is now part of the Indianapolis Colts, and see where we go from there. Fever are off today. They will play again at home tomorrow night, and I guess Scott Agnes is going to join us at 8:30, and we'll ask him whether or not Caitlin Clark is going to be a part of this on-court basketball team very soon, because it's been a while. I think it's been 11 games that she's missed now, James. Is that correct?
I'm not sure on the exact number of games, but yeah, she's been out for quite a while, and still no update at all on any on-court basketball activities.
All right, they will play the Mystics 7:30 on Friday night at the Fieldhouse. You'll hear that one beginning at 7:15 with the fan pregame show and Eddie Garrison right there. There are a couple of preseason games that will be played on Friday night as well before we get to the Packers on Saturday, and it's just starting to trickle in now. A little game here, a little game there. Position battles everywhere, and it always is interesting to see how much time some of these starters get. I know this past weekend, James, were you surprised that the Bengals gave a couple of good series to their starting offense, who just ripped it right down the field?
Not really. It's always par for the course of certain teams, and for that team in particular, you just want to see Joe Burrow and those guys do a little something and get them out of there.
All right, as far as baseball is concerned, last night the Cincinnati Reds shut out the Philadelphia Phillies by a score of 8-0. We had the Cardinals getting edged out by the Colorado Rockies. The White Sox lost to Detroit 1-0. And Milwaukee won their 12th game in a row, which means free hamburgers for everyone in Milwaukee. There's a hamburger company up there called the Webb Company that's been promising free hamburgers at one point back in the day. That was like you had to win 17 in a row, and then later on in the 50s, they revised it to 13 in a row. No one ever got that. They brought it back and said if they ever win 12 in a row, free hamburgers. The last time they did this, it happened one time with 13 in a row. I think they gave away like 170,000 hamburgers, Mark.
Yeah,
that's right up your alley.
I like that they're lowering the standard. Well, we can't get to 17. Let's lower it to 13. That is Milwaukee through and through right there. Let's lower the standard.
You have to buy insurance for something like that, right? In case that actually happens?
As much as I would love to side with Mark and be a hater in this scenario, they're so damn good at baseball. I'm just jealous.
It is really annoying. They're just sweeping everybody and just putting up like 12 runs a game.
I was just bitter by Mark.
Yeah.
Reds only a game back of the wild card. Here we go.
Yeah, they're winning some baseball games. The Cubs called up their top prospect, Mark Owen Casey. Casey? Yeah. There's a lot of vowels in there, I'll tell you that.
After Miguel Amaya, my heart ripped out of my chest yesterday watching that. He has been battling back from an injury. First game back, he took a wild spill off of first base, sprained his ankle. He's going back on the IL just one game in. Just brutal.
Ooh, that is not good. Anything else you guys want to throw in?
You going to LIV Golf it this weekend?
I will probably not make it to LIV Golf.
Starting tomorrow.
Kevin will be there.
Oh, he
loves it.
Boots on the ground.
He's gonna personally follow Bryson.
I was asked to hit the ceremonial first tee shot, and sadly had to decline. Noon shotgun tomorrow, 11 a.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday. There are some murmurs that this is the biggest domestic event yet. We'll see how that plays out. We need some
Jason Derulo.
We need some Jason Derulo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll get Bryson versus the Sweat Bees on YouTube. That seems to be a great YouTube video for Bryson DeChambeau.
I know you're not a big fan, and we get all that, and I understand the divisiveness, but there are some really good golfers. If you're into golf and want to watch some guys play.
Kevin.
Right.
Very good golfers. I would also argue they have chosen obscure nature to the rest of their professional careers. When's the last time you've heard of the name of Kevin Na? Cameron Smith?
I know him, but I don't know how the general.
When's the last time
public
you
does.
watched him?
How many
though?
live golf holes have you watched in your life?
Yeah, I
0.
couldn't even tell you what channel they're on.
My point is,
Amen
like,
to
if you had a 12 or 14-year-old son or daughter that's really into golf, I think it'd be terrific to go
I'm
watch
not
them
denying that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that this
I
is
have
the route
morals is
they
basically what
have,
Kevin is saying.
They have chosen. Honestly,
He has morals. They have millions. Which one do you prefer?
I just think the
Millions.
competition is so blah. But sounds like they're going to be at Chatham next year. Sounds like the Hankies got some big plans up their sleeves. Maybe a little playing field action in the future here.
Yeah.
So they're not messing around.
I will say this: if you've never had an opportunity to go to a professional golf event, I still think one of the coolest things to do is just go watch these guys hit golf balls at the range.
Post up on the range.
It sounds different. It looks different. They'll be hitting irons to like 165 yards, and you look up at the fairway that is the driving range, and you just see this cluster of golf balls within like 10 feet of the pin.
That's where the concert venue is. So, Mark, you'll get Jason Derulo, other side. If you shank one a little bit right, which these guys are so skilled, they won't do that. All of a sudden, you could be the other side could have a whole different verse to it.
Right.
That's true.
Riley Green, are you familiar with Riley Green?
I have
Anybody?
no, I'm not.
Riley Reid?
That's the
No,
musical
Riley
act
Green.
tomorrow.
No.
I'm just.
I know CeeLo Green.
I'm here to report about sports
Al Green.
information.
Al Green.
I
There you
did see
go.
John Robb was over at IMS
The
and
Reverend.
Yeah.
a couple
there you
guys
go.
at the Fever game the other night.
I kind of want Max Bowen to pull like an NWO thing and like reveal that he's a live golf fan in front of Kevin on Father's Day
Lord.
one day.
Asking
Just
his son to become a heel right
rip
away.
the shirt open.
I will
have
say that.
Man.
Live golf.
If Max Bowen pulls that off, you know what? Somehow he makes it on Live one day. Mom and Dad are set for life.
See, morals are millions.
Mom and Dad are
Millions.
set for life.
It always
Kevin's
gets
living
down
high
to
in
it, doesn't
Abu
it, James?
Dhabi.
Millions. I will say, I have to give Jeff his credit. He showed me the email
I gave you the receipts.
with the TJ McConnell email for
Thursday.
TJ McConnell.
Oh, last
right?
Thursday.
Last
Wow.
Thursday. Pulled the receipts. Respect.
Do you think I just make stuff up over
Well,
here?
you told us you went to Game 6.
No, I did not. I said I was down here.
Mark, pull the tape.
I said
it
I was down
He said it was
here.
the greatest environment he had been in.
No, I was talking about outside I
I don't
came
know.
down. If you listen, and please do pull the receipts. It was about going out into Georgia Street after the game.
I don't know. We were talking about being there at the game.
And
No, I'm
you
kidding.
asked me. You said, "Are you there?"
I'm
I said,
kidding.
"I was down here," and I pointed to the desk.
The fan morning show lie detector test. We need to make
All
that
right.
happen.
Yes.
There we go. I'm
That's one of
fine
our new
with that.
segments. I'm joking.
I'm good with it.
No, he pulled the receipts. Jeff is right. I am wrong. I admit this.
Oh wow! I actually got a ding today.
There you go.
How about that? I feel good, Kevin. We're good now, man. Do you guys want to listen to a little bit more of Rick Carlisle? If people missed it yesterday, I thought it was a very relaxed, kind of very broad interview. You guys did a great job yesterday.
Other side of the breaks, definitely, for sure.
All right, we'll do some of that, and we've got a big morning for you ahead as we get ready for the Colts and Packers joint practice a little bit later on today.
Packers suck.
JMV is going to be up there. Mark, you going to go just for spite or not?
I told Shane Steichen that the message is out. You need a motivational speech. Let me out there. Let me get out there with the boys. We'll break it down. The Packers won't gain a yard.
All right, we'll continue the nonsense next right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
There you go, Mark. You're already ready to go.
That's right.
Got your microphone stand fixed today and everything. I got to love
I fixed
that.
it myself. I had to take matters into my own hands. I was rigging this thing myself.
Well, didn't they come back and permanently
know.
fix it later?
I know I did it. I
think
know
if you went
me, I did it.
You sound like
I know
T.O.
I did
I
it.
love me some meat.
Yeah.
I think if you went with my top 5 Spotify for the year, non-kid division, I think this song would probably crack it.
Really?
That is a great song.
Little Shabuzi good news.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know
Thank you, Mark Dykton.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know why, but thank you. I didn't write the song. I just played it.
You know what? I hope I am
Oh, man.
never humble. That is what I've learned from Mark Dykton.
The fan text line is open too at 239-1070. We were talking about that article, Mark, where someone, do you remember what the publication was? Because I think you saw it too. Someone had said that Indianapolis had the best roads in America.
No, I saw it like secondhand on like Barstool Indy or something like that, and they were like, "What in the hell is this person talking about?"
317756 said, Jeff, I was in a doctor's office when I read that. I blurted out laughing, hell no. Brian says that. And he put his name at the end there. Brian.
Yeah, I've seen nothing but potholes and everything like that. No, I mean, especially come wintertime, I mean, Indiana roads are my worst enemy. Because I'm like, no one's plowed these things. What's happening? When the snow just falls and falls, you can't see lanes. I'm like, what are we doing here? But it's been like that ever since I moved here.
It's more for me what happens once the snow is gone and the craters that remain is the biggest problem. But
It's not good.
A minute ago, we were talking about a great conversation had yesterday with the head coach of the Indiana Pacers, Rick Carlisle. He stops by. I caught myself. Come on, that's
You
a
still
half
said
buzz.
it. You said it
It's
enough.
a half buzz.
70% of the word was
We've
spoken.
been talking about Indianapolis Colts all day, and anyway, Indiana
It's like a
Pacers
spelling
head coach
bee
Rick
contest.
Carlisle was with the guys yesterday, and they had a great conversation. And of course, the conversation turned to the departure of Myles Turner. I thought that Coach took the high road, but also gave us a pretty good answer about how things went down.
Yeah, I was surprised. But it's pretty clear what happened. Milwaukee found a way to come up with enough cap space in a very short period of time. It's my guess that they did all this. They did it by waiving Lillard and stretching him and all that kind of stuff. Created whatever it was, 20-some million extra in space. And I think what happened was, they talked to Myles' agent or Myles and his agent and said, look, we have this offer. This is a number, presumably a number that you guys are trying to get to. We need to know that if we offer this, you guys are going to take it and you can't shop it. And that's a frequent, a tactic of negotiation. And so pretty clearly they took the offer. It's their right to do it. We'll certainly miss Myles. I know that there was a lot of talk about some of the things that he said as he left. But I just feel, look, we're going to give Myles the benefit of the doubt on all that stuff. The guy was a Pacer through and through for 10 years. He lived and breathed it. He disregarded trade rumors, when they happened. He was all about Indiana all the time. Sometimes things in the business aspect of basketball become super dynamic and nuclear, and they happen on a they turn on a dime. But everything that Kevin Pritchard said is absolutely true. This franchise was ready to go as far into the tax as we needed to keep him. But things can change quickly. They did. He's moved on. It's a division rival, so there's always going to be plenty to talk about there. But Kevin and Chad were able to acquire Jay Huff, who's certainly not the experience level Myles Turner is, not the exact same kind of player, but he can make threes and he can protect the rim, and he can do some other things that are strengths of his. And so we feel like he's a piece that can work for us. We don't know exactly who's going to start at 5, but I've had seasons where I've had 3 centers and pretty much consistently played 3 centers every game. I think it was 2013-14 with the Dallas Mavericks. I had Sam Dallenberg was our starter, DeJuan Blair, and Brandon Wright played backup, and there were way more games than there weren't where all 3 of those guys played. And so, maybe the center position is more of a Swiss Army knife type thing. We'll have to see. And but we have Huff, we have Isaiah Jackson, we have Wiseman. Tony Bradley's going to be in camp. So there's 4 guys that are going to be slugging it out for the, presumably 3 center spots. So as we get into it, we'll see what's what. But nothing but love from my perspective on Myles Turner. I had a really nice conversation with him after he made the decision to leave, and what a lovable guy. So we'll miss him.
That was the head coach of the Indiana Pacers, Rick Carlisle, talking about the departure of Myles Turner and where the team goes from here. It's going to be a really interesting first couple of weeks for the Pacers with a brand new 5 spot being rotated in, guys coming and going. Obviously, that new starting lineup with Tyrese being out at this point in time. I still don't think that's going to be a complete disaster. I'm a little more bullish on the Pacers. I don't think they're going back to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I think they'll be a really competitive basketball team, Kevin.
We talked earlier in the show, okay, schedule comes out today. What do you care about, if anything? And again, the old coaching adage, it's 41 home, 41 away, just show me the schedule. Obviously from an entertainment standpoint, what the reaction is going to be, yes, the Myles Turner return game will be one that I will certainly be looking forward to. But I think it is vitally important for this year's version of the Pacers to have this schedule be as backloaded as possible with good teams. And I say that for 2 reasons. One, we have seen in the NBA, and we saw it last year, the Pacers at times were one of those teams, not very often, but at times late in the season, February, March, particularly April, you're going to rest guys if you are in a good playoff sort of position. Cleveland, last year, the Pacers played them twice in the last couple weeks of the season, and Cleveland played nobody in those games. So I think if you're the Pacers, and that is probably true of every team, you want to have more of a backloaded schedule. But I also think for this iteration of the Pacers, where you are putting guys into very new roles, and yes, center is one spot, but you're asking a whole lot more of Andrew Nembhard as an 82-night point guard. You're asking a whole lot more of Benedict Mathurin to now slide into the starting lineup. You're probably going to need more scoring punch from a guy like Aaron Nesmith, night in and night out, whatever that second unit is. We asked Rick about guys like Jarris Walker, and he brought up Johnny Furphy as well. So there could be some early season kind of growing pains with all of these guys into different roles. And I think they could be a team that will be playing better basketball come 2026. So for those 2 reasons for me, I think when you see the schedule come out today, you want to see it as backloaded as possible. A, with quality opponents that maybe you catch on some rest. And then B, I think the Pacer team you see late this season will look a little different than what you see here October, November.
To piggyback off of that, Kevin, I do think this team is going to struggle considerably to kind of figure out who their identity and what their identity is without Tyrese Halliburton, because he's a top 15 player. I think sometimes, because of the fight we saw from this team and the grit and the tenacity and the never say die attitude, we overlook the fact that they still will be without a top 15 player. And so that, to me, is a significant loss. And even when I hear Rick tell us, other teams were inspired by us, or you hear some of these shows talk about how the Pacers have, kind of given you a new blueprint of how to win. Do you have another Tyrese Halliburton somewhere? Does anybody? No, they do not. So I'm very curious to see how Andrew Nembhard in particular handles the bigger role that he'll have and the way they respond. Because to me, and I'll say it nice and early, I think the ceiling for this team without Halliburton is to win perhaps one round in the playoffs. That's it. I don't see them advancing past that. Feel free to, clip this if you're listening as a Pacers fan or a Pacers player, perhaps, and use it as bulletin board material. But I just can't see you losing a top 15 player and still going deep in the playoffs. That, to me, is just not going to happen.
Can you imagine a Pacer player up at 7:43 in the morning listening to this?
I'm just picturing
Would
like.
you be shocked if TJ McConnell's not ready to go?
I was gonna say I'm picturing McConnell like in the gym right now sweating. He's like, all this James Boyd guy's a hater.
At 8 a.m. here on a
But
Thursday
I do
morning.
think they'll be a very entertaining team, and it's still a good team. It's just that in certain spots, when it comes to one, running your offense first and foremost, and then two, closing games, because we saw. When Tyrese isn't in there to close, man, it can get a little clunky sometimes.
No, I mean, I was nodding my head throughout that, James. I think there will be multiple times this season that I will probably come in here at 7 a.m. the next morning after a Pacer game and say, wow, we are reminded of how great of a player Tyrese Halliburton is. And, like, I think statistically you can probably just look at that on paper. But watching this team and the flow offensively and the freedom and the just how well he sets guys up, not having that. Now, defensively, maybe you're better. Maybe you're more of kind of a rugged team. Maybe you're more of a throwback team. Maybe you're playing games, a little bit more hover around 100 instead of the race for 120, 130. We have seen a few games announced, by the way. This seemingly has been a home game, I feel like, every year for the Pacers. They will have that Friday night of Thanksgiving week. That will be a home game that often is coupled with the old tree lighting right here below us on the circle. So that will be actually one of their in-season group play games. Commissioner's Cup against the Wizards. So that was announced yesterday. So right now we know, again, Pacers Thunder, Thursday night, the 23rd of October. That will be the opener. And then they did announce their group play games. And the rest of the schedule will be announced later today.
I'm looking forward to the race a little bit later on. I suppose it'll come, a little bit after the scrimmage for the Packers and Colts today? I guess not so much scrimmage, but joint practice.
I got no idea.
Yeah.
On the time.
I don't know what the timing is.
Do they do something on NBA TV? I got nothing.
I don't know.
My attention
I think
will be
it's probably early
up
afternoon.
there in Westfield.
We'll find out more about that and let you know when that will happen, but we'll talk about it as we go along. Talking about the NBA, too, I saw something that crossed the wires late last night. That we saw a sale. The Boston Celtics are going to be sold. Did you see this, James? Did you see the number involved? $6.1 billion. $6.1 billion. When is the right time to sell your franchise? They keep going up in value and value. You just keep it and sit on it, or do you just turn it into cash one day? $6.1 billion.
Must be nice. I don't think I can buy anything for $6 right now. So whatever billion is crazy. I did see that the NFL, according to Sportico, put out their list of along the lines of valuations, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Valuations for NFL franchises. And the Colts are the 28th most valuable franchise at $5.72 billion. They dropped a spot from last year's rankings. The Cincinnati Bengals, by the way, who are known as being cheapskates, are last in these rankings. But also, could you imagine being last in anything and being worth $5.5 billion? NFL is doing well, you all. And then the number one team, obviously, Dallas Cowboys, worth $12.8 billion.
Why do you caboose on that train every single day? $5.5 billion to be last, sure.
Man.
Why do you think we've gotten so much parity in the NBA in the last few years?
The new CBA?
Yeah, because you can't just load up a team with star after star after star after star and keep it.
I mean, it goes back. The stat was 7 different champions in the last 7 years. I was listening to Tim Bontemps, Brian Windhorst from ESPN. They were chatting about this. Not only have we had 7 different champions in the last 7 years, but if you look at the finals matchup, the 14 teams over the last 7 years, 11 of them have been different. They also threw out a stat where the defending champ has not made it, I think it's out of the second round in 6 of the last 7 years. So you haven't even gotten like a 2-year run. Mm-hmm. I mean, can you imagine if the Thunder bowed out that early this coming year? Like, they are the odds-on favorite heavily. It's I mean, the new CBA, but guys, I mean, was the new CBA intact 7 years ago? I mean,
here's
kind of wild how far back it goes.
Here's a couple of answers I can give you, and some of them not as serious as others. One, LeBron got old.
No,
because there was a
dead serious answer.
There was a stretch there where if he was on your team, you were going to the finals.
And then before that, it was literally Kobe. I mean, it was like Kobe or LeBron played in every finals.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. And then I do think the gap between great players and very good players has kind of shrunk a bit because there's so many talented guys in the league now. Like, for example, you look at the Pacers roster, they don't have a ton of great players, in my opinion. The great ones are Halliburton and Siakam, and then the rest of them are just very, very good. But they have a bunch of those guys. And so you're not seeing a lot of those top-heavy teams anymore, and it feels like the recipe to win, if you aren't, peak prime LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or somebody like that, is to have a better supporting cast around them. So maybe you have 2 stars, and then you have, your 6 through 8 players are much better, than what they used to be in the past. And also skill and shooting. I think shooting changes a lot. Like every team can shoot now. I go back and watch you think
that's more variance?
I think it not necessarily, maybe not variance, but what's the word I'm looking for? It creates more of a competitive balance. Like you're not able to blow teams out like you used to. I mean, 20-point leads just aren't what they used to be. And it's not just the Pacers doing this. Teams come back now. And so I think that adds to what we've seen as far as a parity, because you look at like the 2010 finals with the Boston Celtics and the Lakers, you have like 2 or 3 guys on the court that can't shoot at all. That does not happen anymore. Like if you play the Pacers, especially this last version that we had with healthy Halliburton, and there was a player on the other team that couldn't shoot, you were going to get crushed because the Pacers are going to make him have to do something on offense, and they're going to expose you on defense. And so it is a much more tactical league and a much more skilled league, in my opinion.
You've thrown a couple of injuries here and there, too. I remember a couple of years ago, Golden State was playing well, and all of a sudden Steph had that ankle problem. And then you see the Celtics last year, this past season, obviously – they were really hit hard by the injury bug. Maybe that has something. So maybe it's just a combination of a lot of things in a weird.
Though?
I know.
I mean,
I just wonder if it's one of those.
Time.
I think a lot of what he started with LeBron, because during his peak,
I'm not kidding.
Every year, whoever team LeBron was on, they're going to the finals.
Well, I think there was literally a run. I forget.
You went to 8 straight,
12 straight years where it was either literally Kobe or LeBron in the finals. So. Yeah, I mean, we have gotten, hell, if you want to go way back, Bird Magic probably had that feel in the 80s.
Jordan.
Obviously, Michael speaks for itself, Shaq. So it's just interesting because I don't think, I love the NFL, and a huge reason why is I think it has great parity.
It does.
But right now, you might look at the NBA and say, from a final standpoint, it's got more parity than Mahomes and the Chiefs playing in the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
I think 1-32, the NFL's got more parity in it, and
that's true.
There's the old stat of 4 new playoff teams every year in the NFL, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just kind of wild that I think the NBA largely is, it's the same teams every year, or who's going to be in the finals. It's like, well, that's not really true.
Not anymore. Yeah, LeBron stuff got old because those guys were in there every single year.
It's crazy. I'm trying to look up some odds right now. Early odds on who will win the NBA championship, and just to make the NBA finals right now, it's Oklahoma City at plus 230, it's Cleveland at plus 750, the Knicks at plus 800, the Rockets at plus 850, Nuggets at plus 850. So really, Oklahoma City's got the best odds in the Western Conference, or even in the Eastern Conference, of getting back to the finals, but there's a lot of teams that they kind of like.
Massive.
I was going to say,
margin.
wow.
I mean, when's the last time? I mean, say the first two.
Plus
odds
230
again.
and then plus 750.
Yeah, for those that don't pay attention to gambling, that is an insane gap between 1 and 2 on that
that's
list.
what happens when your 3 best players are all very young.
But to bring it full circle, people are kind of expecting this young version of stars with the Oklahoma City Thunder to be around and together for a few years now, too.
This is true. I do have a Colts question that we can get into after the break. It regards wide receivers, and I'm curious, and I need answers from all of you.
Mark's got answers, don't you, Mark?
Sure.
The answer to every question is what, Mark?
That's right.
By the way, shout out to Kenny.
Actually, it's usually
Packers
that's usually the answer.
Shout out to Kenny. We were talking a little bit about fantasy football yesterday. We're gonna have a show league here. We're gonna did we officially give away one spot yesterday, Mark?
Ross. He's in the hopper.
Shout out to Ross. Kenny chimed in. We were talking about, I got a little poke fun at that. I said BW3s, instead of Buffalo Wild Wings. And we were talking about drafts. Kenny said that a couple years ago he drank 12 tall Miller Lights at BW3s in an hour and a half.
What?
During his team's fantasy football draft. He then went on to win the league.
I thought he was going to draft like 17 wide receivers.
I was going to say, does he remember winning the league? Does he remember drafting his team that night?
I think I need a 30 for 30 on this.
Yeah. How'd you get
12 tall Miller Lights in 90 minutes, and then you go on to win the league. What does that say about your 11 friends in the league?
Yeah.
Are you sure he really had 11 friends by the time he had his 10th beer?
Probably had 33.
That's what I'm saying. They're just seeing double, triple over
Jeez.
there.
Got your stomach pumped and you won the league. That's a good night.
Quite impressive by old Ken out there.
KJ from Brownsburg wants to know how many consecutive years did Bill Russell get to the finals, player and coach? That was a bunch.
That's a good point.
Scotty
I mean,
question
yeah,
right
a lot
there.
of that. Yeah, a lot of the time they brought up LeBron, they would bring up that it hadn't been done basically like since the modern era.
The NBA's
existed.
got parity.
I like it.
Seriously.
Especially this year, I like it. So, all right, coming up in a moment, we'll talk more about the Colts and Packers later on this afternoon. Schedule release day for the NBA, and more about the Pacers there, and some of your comments as we continue next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good Thursday morning to you. Welcome in to another terrific morning of talking about sports. The Colts and the Packers, joint practice later on this afternoon. NBA schedule release day. We do know already that the Pacers will be hosting Oklahoma City Thunder on the 23rd of October. We found that out yesterday, and now we've gotten a couple of other dates leaked out here. And then I guess the big one, JB, is people are waiting to see when maybe Myles Turner is coming back to town, right?
Yes, and I saw this debate going on. It was our YouTube chat or through the text line yesterday. Will Myles Turner get booed? Yes. This isn't even a debate to me. He's going to get booed, absolutely.
Right out of the gate? You think right?
Yes.
Like when they introduce him, you think people are going to give him the business?
Yes, I definitely think they will. I think some Pacers fans or Indiana sports fans think they're a little classier than they actually are. Y'all know y'all petty, just like me. And once Myles made those comments, I mean, it was scorched earth after that. And I'm not saying he should get booed, but in the essence of pettiness, yes, he is going to get booed. Absolutely. I would bet a large amount of money on this.
What if they announce his
I'll
name?
bet every penny I own.
Yeah, like I don't think – because my only question is, will he get booed doing his video, like, recap of his career? Which I'm not sure if that will happen, but as soon as the game starts, he touches the basketball, oh, yes, he's getting booed relentlessly.
Real quick before we move on, some housekeeping. Scotty J coming through again. He sent a text to us. Bill Russell played in the NBA Finals in 10 straight seasons, won championships in 8 straight seasons. Did he, Scotty, can you check, did he also, right after he got done playing on that streak, did he also coach an NBA Finals or two? I know he's a player coach for a while. Maybe that's all-inclusive there from Scotty.
Yeah, do more work, Scotty. Look that up, too.
Well, he probably already knows off top of his head.
That. I believe Bill Russell was the first black head coach to win the championship in the NBA, so that would make sense that he also – that overlaps with his time of winning championships as a player.
Yeah, I think they won 11 overall, something crazy like that. Whew. Yeah, Russell won 11 championships overall. It's not a bad career, JB. You could do better than that, right?
No, not bad at all.
James, you said you had a Colts wide receiver question?
Yes, I do. And this was sparked by the YouTube chat. So shout out to the folks debating the value of the Colts' receivers.
By the way, did we just get a nude text message?
We did.
Well, partially nude, yeah.
And where was this located at?
Man.
This was not the YouTube chat.
This was the
text
text.
Oh.
Yeah, but nobody else can publicly see it, though, here.
So that means
I've seen it. My eyes are scarred forever.
Yeah.
So we have this number. Are we saving it?
Yeah, I think we should.
Every Colts victory.
You know what? And the
Quite
message.
the picture there.
You know, it was to Jeff in particular. It wasn't to us. We were not supposed to see this.
It was just to the text line.
Oh no, they threw it to Jeff.
Morning girlfriend pick for Jeff.
For
Save
Jeff.
In the chat. Wow.
Oh man.
Not Mark.
You got some
not
explaining
Kevin,
to
not
do.
James.
You got some explaining to do. So while Jeff figures out how to, apologize profusely, the question I do have in all seriousness is about the Colts' wide receiver core. Who will be the most productive wide receiver for this team this year? I feel like that's a very serious statement. I'm not
I already
joking.
told you my answer. You already know my answer.
Well, I need a serious answer.
To me, is a serious answer.
How do you define it? Catches, yards, touchdowns?
I would say a combination of all three. But most productive. I mean, I guess the most impactful. Who will be the most impactful Colts wide receiver this season? Meaning, when we look up at the end of the year, we'll say that guy was the top receiver on this team.
It's a great question. I think you can make strong cases for several of them. Gosh, I just think the big playability is still such a coveted aspect to it. I'll go Pierce. Downs is one I thought about, just the ability to continue to move the chains and make plays on third down, and the slot wide out, I think, is just such a critical element to your team. But I think you can make really good cases for, part of me with Pierce is a little hesitant just because if it's Daniel Jones, does Pierce really impact? Like, for example, one thing I want to see Saturday is Daniel Jones uncork a few. James, in the spring, Jones chucked a few up to Pierce, and he made great plays, typical Alec Pierce plays down the field. We've yet to really see him attempt much, if any, of that in camp. So that would be something I would want to see. Do you have a convincing answer? I have no convincing answer. I guess Pierce would be the one, but Do you have one that's higher than the rest?
Man, I do wonder about a guy like Josh Downs. I think he caught the most footballs last year for the team, if I'm not mistaken. So could he be the one, because he's in that tweener spot, the slot position?
He's just like death by 1,000 paper cuts, whereas
so
Pierce is more of the
boom, and I wonder if that's a little bit more reliable than Pierce. Not saying Pierce isn't a good player and can't do that same or have that same sort of impact that he had last year, but I feel like it's more boom or bust with some of those downfield throws. And you know how it goes. Like, deep balls are just not completed at the same rate as the over-the-middle, tweener passes. And so I think that Josh Downs might be my pick. Although I feel like I might be disrespecting Michael Pittman Jr., but I haven't seen enough from in camp, and maybe that's just because it's camp and he's not really a camp player. But I do wonder if we've sort of plateaued with Pittman. And can he still be the quote-unquote number one receiver for this team? He's not number one receiver, in my opinion, as far as like the tiers of receivers in the league. Before this team, I do wonder if that number one spot is up for grabs.
One thing I do like, though, when you are down in the red zone, and particularly inside the 10-yard line, and maybe you go for it on third or fourth down and you got 4, 5, 6 yards to go. I like the idea of having big physical receivers like Pittman and now Warren to give the defense something to deal with.
Yeah, but the crazy part about Pittman is that he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. I want to say the most touchdowns he's had in a season in his career is 6.
Doesn't he draw a lot of attention down in that area, though?
Well, that's why I'm saying, as far as the production of the top guy, all those guys draw a lot of attention. They still find ways to score. So that's I don't know. It can go either way. Catches, 80 Mitchell, 80 of them. For hopefully more than 750 yards. And we'll see, though, because I could go if Alec Pierce has a breakout year and he's more than just a guy who runs go routes. Is he somebody who gets open over the middle that can help you move the chain? So all I'm saying is, I guess the roundabout way of me putting this out there is saying that I'm not sure that Pittman is going to be the undisputed number one receiver on this team this year and for the foreseeable future. And keep in mind, he's also not going to have any guaranteed money after this year. So what does that mean for his future if he isn't the number one guy?
Well, if you just want to live in the present of this season, and I guess you were kind of getting at this, like, how do the Colts make the playoffs this season? Internally, they would say and hope that, hey, we think our quarterback play is going to be better. And we also think our defense is going to take a step up. Like, those two, I think, and honestly, those two probably resonate the most with fans. Now, quarterback play, I think, is more the question mark of those two. Like, is quarterback play really going to be better? We'll see. Defensively, I can understand why there is some legit reasons behind that unit being better, whether you believe in the system change of Lou Anarumo from Gus Bradley and or you believe in the personnel, particularly at corner and safety, with Javarius Ward and Cam Bynum. But I also think the lesser of the how do we get better from 2024 is what you just laid out there, James. Their pass-catching group. Again, Downs and Pierce are more the givens. They're reliable. They're consistent in their roles. They were actually good last season in a year where you didn't have a lot of kind of like individual standouts. But what if A.D. Mitchell takes a growth in year 2? Obviously, their rival of Tyler Warren is the newest body within that pass-catching group. And then lastly, Michael Pittman Jr.'s health from being not playing through a back that, looks like me last year. So if that aspect, like, again, if there's 3 aspects, quarterback play getting better, that's 1. Defense getting better, that's 2. And 3 is pass catching. If you get 2 of those 3, obviously quarterback play would greatly enhance you.
I was going to say 2.
But if you cross off quarterback, if you're skeptical of that,
okay.
If your defense can improve and if your pass catching can improve, then on paper, this can be a playoff team. Because What are the areas, I guess, that you would say the reverse on? What are the areas that you're skeptical of? What are the areas that you think will take a step back? To me, I've got 1 that I have in question, but are there any of you? Because I think those are 3 that, again, and I don't know, can your quarterback play get any worse? I'd argue no, so I don't put that
I never want to say that.
on that list.
Be careful
Never
what you
wanna
bring
say
into
that.
existence.
By the way, I saw Chad Kelly's lighting it up in the CFL. Can we
Yeah.
get Swag Kelly back here?
And I say this because you remember that Miami Dolphins game last year? They probably thought it couldn't get any worse, and it got worse very quickly.
And also, I had a listener reach out to me saying that son and daughter were on a bike ride. I won't give the exact coordinates, but in the general area, and they almost hit Daniel Jones walking on the street. Can you imagine? Is that the only thing missing from our quarterback drama here in Indianapolis? Daniel Jones goes down because 6-year-old innocent girl runs into the back of his leg.
I'm
That'd be a Colts thing.
definitely okay. So
Big Colts thing.
all right, now I'm an equal opportunity hater. What kind of driving lessons are these on his bike now?
Well,
This is a 6-year-old.
Daniel Jones is a very large human being. He's a very big person to be running into back of.
Maybe the 6-year-old had Anthony Richardson in the old quarterback pool and wanted to make sure that she got her anything
on our
that,
parlay.
anything that takes a step back,
I
or
think
you're just
okay.
generally skeptical of.
I'm skeptical of the kicker. I think that's kind of been underrated. I am skeptical there for sure. I know Matt Gay has had his struggles last year, but he didn't miss inside 50. And this guy hasn't kicked outside of 50. So we'll see what happens with Spencer Schrader. And kickers are just finicky like that. 1 year you're good, the next year you're not. That happens sometimes. So that's one area. I think an area they could also take a step back in is certainly at – I'm trying to be – I don't know if it's a step back. I don't know if they'll improve at linebacker. I think linebackers, they struggled a lot last year in coverage.
Yeah, I thought they
Will it
were
be any
not a
better?
great group last
Yeah.
year.
So that's one I can definitely that's probably a wash.
To me, it's offensive line.
Yeah, and I was
Like,
going to go offensive line because there's questions there. I mean,
Like
I want to give credit to Tony Sperano, what he's done with that group, because the guys that they have played or tried to develop through have gotten better, the younger guys. I mean, I have to give credit. Will Fries went from a 7th-round pick to being a guy who got $80+ million on the open market this past season. But do I really think that Bordolini and Matt Gonzalez are both going to be good and solid all season? I'm not so sure about that.
Well, and what happens if either of those tackles go down?
Yeah,
Oh,
depth is going to
exactly.
be a problem.
Last year we've seen them. So I think that's the one where, to me, kicker, I can hear you out on. But offensive line, it's like last year, I didn't think the offensive line was a problem, and yet you still didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
What if the offensive line becomes – you already have issues at quarterback.
Right.
You can't afford inconsistency in the group that's protecting them. So if they have some hiccups, that would be the one that I think you're a little nervy about.
Defensive line, I think we'd all guess that the secondary is going to be better with the additions they've made, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's going to be good. We have questions about linebacker, and I think a lot of it comes down to Latte Latu. If he can start to provide pressure off the edge, that makes a pretty stout interior of that defensive line even better. I think that's a big key to what they do this year.
Yeah, Laiatu, I think, is due for a big year and is poised for a big year. And if he doesn't make that jump, that'll be another mark against Chris Ballard, honestly. But when you draft a guy and you say, hey, we got the best edge rusher in the draft, and that was the clean version, we got the best bleeping edge rusher in the draft, then he needs to show up. And also with the departure of Dio Dangbo, there's plenty of snaps to go around for a guy like Laiatu, because Dio, I believe, played the most snaps of any defensive lineman the Colts had last year. So without him in the mix, Laiatu, here's your chance to, be a game changer, be a game wrecker. And we've seen, I think, some flashes throughout training camp, Kevin, but as always, it's like this with running backs. It's honestly like this when I evaluate Anthony Richardson and probably Daniel Jones to a degree, because they're both dual threat quarterbacks. It's hard to give the full scope of what they will do in these settings because the physicality isn't there, the run element isn't there, and obviously in Laiatu's case, you can't hit the quarterback. Because there's been plenty of times where, like, Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson have completed a pass, but we all looked at each other afterwards and was like, he would have got sacked 2 seconds ago by Laiatu, and he just couldn't hit him. And so what does that mean? And obviously last year he was close to a couple of sacks, but close doesn't count in this league. What does it mean to get him on the ground?
I'm curious. More info on what happened to Daniel Jones. Was he just standing on a bike path? How did he almost get
No, I think he was
over?
walking on the sidewalk with potentially someone of the opposite sex.
Oh,
Potentially.
so he was distracted, you're saying.
Well, I mean, have you ever gone on a walk with Ashley around the neighborhood here, Mark?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
everything's
but
got to
there
be
you
the
go.
exact picture that was sent to Jeff via the text.
That's true.
line.
It was quite the day. We're a week in, and that's the first.
I
that's
know,
one of the
man.
first things we got.
better
Already
hope-
getting some.
Hope Christine's not
Yeah,
listening.
I was about to say,
at
Jeff's got some
8:14 on a
ooh,
Thursday morning.
He got a
there.
secret admirer.
She would just roll her eyes.
Man.
Imagine
yeah,
if
good
the
luck
Colts
with
get
that.
on a win streak. What
I was
kind of
gonna
pictures
say,
we're
yeah.
gonna be getting?
You have the calmest woman on earth. Is all she's gonna do is roll
And
her
I don't
eyes.
know what side of the plate that picture was from.
Jeff's
I
gonna
must
get
say.
roses delivered tomorrow from his secret admirer.
She's confident enough to know that good luck finding something better. This is kind of how she would think.
Respect.
Getting back to what you were talking about, though, you were there last week. How did that offensive line hold up in joint practices against the Ravens?
I thought it was fine, but again, I thought, in all seriousness, and some of the run stuff, they looked really good. When it comes to some of the zone read stuff, RPO stuff, and for those listening, that is just fancy's ways of saying, fake handoffs, and things like that worked in their favor. Where it's like, will the quarterback keep the ball, or will he hand it off to the running back? A few of those plays worked very well, and the offensive line I thought had some really key moments. But even then, there were a couple of plays where I'm wondering, okay, is that a sack by Roquan Smith or is it not? Would Anthony elude that? Would the offensive line be better there? Would they be worse? So I'm not sure. And that's the hardest thing to evaluate, I think, in preseason football is the trenches on both sides. People always ask about him, hey, how does Jalen Travis look? He looks okay, but how does he look when someone really puts paws on him? And I think we saw probably more of an answer in the preseason opener, and I thought there were a couple of moments where the offensive line kind of got stonewalled a bit.
Once again, the one stable thing coming in from year to year to year, it seems to be a trend for the Colts. Nobody's worried about the punting game, right?
Nah, I mean, yeah, Rigoberto Sanchez is one of the best punters in the league, so he should be fine.
Keep that tradition going of having terrific punters for the Colts. Gotta like that.
Yeah, I
Nothing
wonder
gets the people going like punting.
I was gonna say,
Hey, but these are guys that can completely flip the field, bail you out of a lot of tough situations.
I don't want to flip the field too much, otherwise you're gonna be losing a lot.
The Colts was the first town I've ever seen like punters, like people wearing punter jerseys.
Well, their punter, in fairness, is not like most punters.
Right. But at the time, I'm
Pat
like,
McAfee is
I'm like,
like-
what is going on in this town?
Yeah, he's got a huge personality.
There's
you know.
interesting.
Yeah, Rigo
Always
is a little
interesting.
more low key.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk more about that. Again, scrimmage time today. It's joint practice time. I keep saying scrimmage, but it's joint practice. Is a little bit different. What time does that start today out at Grand
3
Park?
p.m.
3
I'll be out there
p.m.
baking in the sun.
Got the bucket hat. You go bucket hat today too, Kevin?
Yeah, I actually
Autographs.
saw the weather looks decent. Like not going to be scorching hot, but yeah, you probably should go team bucket hat for the final practice, right?
I want James signing at least 2 bucket hats today. We need to hit this. It's the last time to get out there,
You want
people.
me
You want him
ruining
signing
it?
bucket hats
Bucket
or
hats.
babies?
And
Let's
get
do it,
Kevin an
man.
ice cold blue Powerade. How about that?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be about 85 degrees at 3 p.m., which is a lot different than low
Sweatshirt
90s
weather
and
compared to what we've had.
90% humidity going on there. By the way, one of our listeners texting me, we were talking about sweat bees up
watch
at
out
the
now,
Colts the
careful.
other day.
Ooh, right. What
No,
texting
no,
what?
no.
Hold on now.
I should say, sending me a note on Twitter. How about that? Or X. But talking about the fact that because he sent me the difference between sweat bees and corn flies and whatnot, all he's getting now all over his algorithms are sweat bees.
I feel like this is all we're going to be. This is our show now. We're like the National Geographic channel. We're learning about sweat bees.
The
That's just
nature
how
of
it
Hendricks
goes.
County
Yeah.
show.
All right, let's check things down and get you ready to go for the day ahead.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The
You
Fan.
start doing pollen count updates and air.
I'm like, what kind of
You
show
were
is this?
sneezing all day yesterday. You okay?
Yeah.
Is it a little pollen in the air? A little allergy? What was going on there, man? Yeah, I was worried about
You
it.
know, I will happily talk about this when we start our, nature show.
All right, we'll do that. We will be interested in the NBA schedule release a little bit later on today. Not sure exactly what time it drops. The Indiana Pacers know that they will open their season on the 23rd of October against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Other details coming out, like Champions Cup, their first game there. What do we know, James? Anything in particular?
Commissioner's Cup, right?
Yeah,
Commissioner's Cup, I'm sorry.
Cup,
Yep.
But, I mean, like I said, I just want to know, like Mark wants to know, when is that first Bucks game here at Gamers Fieldhouse?
That's the first thing I'm looking at. I'm skipping the rest of the schedule and looking for with that Bucks logo.
All right. A lot of people also on the text line saying absolutely Myles is going to get booed when he comes back.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a debate.
A lot of people saying they weren't exactly Myles Turner fans in the first place. got a couple of those texts today. Anyway, that'll be coming out later on today. The Indianapolis Colts, as we've been talking about, joint practices with the Green Bay Packers. No Jordan Love. He's going to miss the rest of the preseason because of surgery on his non-throwing thumb earlier this week, Kevin Bowen. So we won't see him this weekend either.
Yeah, Packers sounds like they're pretty banged up at wideout. So it'll be battle of attrition. Packers wideouts versus Colts corners today. They're also without arguably their best defensive player, Xavier McKinney. He had a big pick in that Week 2 game there last season. So definitely trench play. I think you'll get good on good there. That'll be something to keep an eye on, and we'll see how Malik Willis looks against the Colts. He didn't do a whole lot last year in Week 2, but did enough for them to get the W. And it sounds like from the Green Bay side of it, he has struggled a bit during camp. And you've gone into your Rolodex for a Green Bay guest coming up at 9?
Doug Russell, who is the pregame host for the Green Bay Packers, is going to join us at 9 o'clock this morning.
That was a heavy Jonathan Taylor trade team, was it not?
It was.
Yeah.
That was probably the team that wanted Taylor the most, or at least realistically.
Wisconsin kid, yeah.
Wouldn't Malik Willis lighten it up today be like the worst case scenario? Because like if it's Jordan Love, you're like, okay, like whatever. But if Malik Willis comes in and starts torching the Colts, aren't you like, oh God?
He did torch them last year.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying.
I
Are you
was
going to get
there.
like Malik Willis PTSD? Like, not again. Not this guy.
We'll see, because I have questions, like I said, about that linebacker core and also the depleted secondary.
Ugh.
Indiana Fever return to the Fieldhouse tomorrow night. They'll take on the Washington Mystics. That one starts at 7:30 p.m. Our pregame show with Eddie Garrison will begin at 7:15. Get ready to go on that one. As we speak right now, the Fever are 18-15, sitting in 6th place in the WNBA standings. You want to try to get into the top 4 to get a home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Right now, they are behind the Phoenix Mercury, who are in 4th place right there at 19-12. So a game and a half with some games for Phoenix to make up as they try and chase that down where it's all said and done. And we'll talk to Scott Agnes at 9 o'clock this morning about – I'm sorry, 8:30 next. It's Doug Russell at 9. Scott Agnes coming up next, and we'll ask him if there's any Caitlin Clark anywhere on the horizon when that one comes up. Major League Baseball, the Reds are making a play here right now, Kevin Bowen, trying to make a big playoff push here.
Hunter Green, excellent in his return last night, so was thrilled to see that. Yes, just a game back of the very reeling New York Mets, which makes me very happy.
Yeah, Reds specifically beat the Phillies 8-0 last night in that one. St. Louis Cardinals were edged out by the Colorado Rockies. 6-5 was the final score there. It was the White Sox losing to the Tigers 1-0, still struggling offensively at times. And the Brewers have now won 12 games in a row. 12-5 over the Pirates. They just have won free hamburgers for everybody in Milwaukee. Mark's going to go up there and be a resident for a day.
That's what they need, more beef and cheese up there. Clog those arteries.
And Kevin, you talked about
it's pretty pathetic how much that is my diet, just beef and cheese. And I just eat it just
You're a
in
protein guy.
Different other ways. Like, oh yeah, this isn't really beef and cheese, and I'm like, oh wait, I guess that is kind of.
Are we talking Slim Jims here, or like real beef and real cheese?
Nah, I'm talking real beef and real cheese.
All right, LIV Golf coming this weekend, Kevin, up at Chatham Hills.
How about a Philly cheesesteak? How about a taco? Yeah, let's see if I can. Yeah, LIV Golf. I see Scottie Pippen in the Pro-Am today.
Oh, I saw Scottie Pippen teeing off, driving by a golf course in Chicago.
Wasn't the event in Chicago last week? Shouldn't have that been the Scottie Pippen Pro-Am?
Well, he's not exactly making friends over there anymore.
Is he making friends here?
I guess.
I was going to say, I don't know if he's loved by the Pacers fan base.
I was surprised to see first ever Pete Dye course they've gone to is here at Chatham Hills. And I guess the rumor is they're back next year. At least that's the thought process. And then some old big thing in Plainfield being built by the Hankies, and we'll see what happens.
I saw the other day when I was driving through Westfield, there's a big sign that said, "Welcome to Westfield, home of LIV Golf."
The expectation is the biggest domestic event they've had so far. This is year 4 of LIV, and they play, probably 3 to 4 times in the U.S. each year? I don't know, maybe a little bit more than that. So we'll see how the crowds are out there. Obviously, when you think about Indy and a sports town, kind of goes without saying what our history is here and people showing up. So I think as long as Mother Nature cooperates and the sweat bees cooperate as well, should be a nice crowd up there.
I think we're looking forward to a future minor league baseball team somewhere in Indiana called the Sweat Bees at this point, aren't we? All right, coming up in a moment, We will talk fever. We'll talk a little schedule release in the NBA. Fieldhouse Files man Scott Agnes stops by as we continue. The Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Jeff Rickard, Mark Dykton right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Schedule release day in the NBA. We'll find out a little bit more about the Pacers and who's coming to town win a little bit later on this afternoon. Fever back in action tomorrow night against the Washington Mystics. And a man who covers it all joins us now on the Payless Liquors hotline. That would be Scott Agnes. You can find his stuff over at the Fieldhouse Files. Good friend of the station and the program here. Good Thursday morning, Scott. You got lots going on right now.
Hello, Jeff. Yeah, absolutely. And that's really kind of been the case all summer long. It really hasn't been any let up whatsoever.
So, Scott, I will start with the question that I'm sure you have been peppered with over and over and over again, and I will just add to this. What is the latest on Caitlin Clark, and will she return and play this season?
Yeah, so there remains no timeline, and there never has been one. That's the one thing I want to stress there. She remains out indefinitely, and I think it was wise for them purposely not to put a timeline on there, given all the various elements, but the number one thing being the fact that she has never dealt with any injuries throughout her career. So she remains out indefinitely. She's with the team every single day, has not yet ramped up to doing stuff with the team and with multiple players and all kinds of things like that. And yes, I do expect for her to return for the season, but I think it'll be at least a couple more weeks.
So one quick follow-up to that. So basically what you're saying is they don't want a situation where it was like TJ Warren and it went from weeks to months to, oh, wait a second, he isn't playing again this year. So I think that was wise on their part. I would agree there. But yeah, you made me think of the TJ Warren, Rick Carlisle comment from a couple of years ago, and that Lord knows how many times we played that over the air.
And that's why, to me, James, it was so important for them not to say, hey, she's day-to-day or we'll see tomorrow or anything like that. The biggest thing you've seen with teams here in the last few years, Pacers included, is if they don't have to or if they can stay away from the timeline, mostly because if there's a setback or if a player's not feeling right, well, if they don't hit that timeline, then everybody worries or whatever. It's like we don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes or why, and so I think it's more so not to rush Caitlin, but also from the fan perspective or everything. But I would be stunned if she does not return. And let's use another Pacer analogy. How many times have we seen a player want to come back for at least a few games to finish a season? I think of TJ McConnell. He had hand injury, came back to play in a couple games before the offseason. I think about Paul George's compound leg fracture. Came back, I think, played 6 games before the offseason and the season was over. I think it would be so healthy mentally for her to get that, because then otherwise, James, she's not playing from mid-July to like May, and that's not healthy either if she can get to the point where she's comfortable, and I think she will.
So, Scott, based off what you're kind of laying out there, I mean, she maybe is going to play in a couple of regular season games until the playoffs, and I stress maybe on that.
No, I think it'd be slightly more than that. I think just guessing here, I think you'd be looking at a final, I don't know, week and a half, couple of weeks.
Because we're less than a month until the regular season ends.
Right, I'm saying at least a couple more weeks. So that's halfway. So you got 2 weeks of the regular season, ideally, and then you have the playoffs. So, yeah, it's not a lot of time. You're absolutely right, but it's more than a game or two.
Anything, Scott Agnes, Fieldhouse Files with us here, and I know we don't want to go Caitlin Clark for the entire segment, but anything she said with Sue Bird that kind of stood out to you? I enjoyed that podcast. We obviously haven't heard from her in a media setting in a while. I thought she had some candid comments about her first injury and initially thinking, hey, I'm just tight. I'm just sore. I got to play through this. I don't want to be soft, et cetera, et cetera. Anything stand out to you from her appearance on Sue Bird's pod?
Yeah, that was really good. It's great when the legend like Sue Bird is able to get her to open up. They had a different conversation here in town during All-Star Weekend. Yeah, I thought there was a number of things. I think reiterating, I think it was important to fans is how much she knows she means to fans and how much she might think about the pressure to be out there and to miss time. And that's something to some degree as well. She mentioned last year, she was like, look, I realize all these fans are shelling out hundreds of dollars and we're selling out arenas and all that. So I think for her being just a 23-year-old, I think just how she continues to be so self-aware about her presence and what it can do, and in the fact the line, she hadn't said it, but you could feel it and see it. The point, KB, that she said, look, I'm going to every game. I'm going to sign autographs. I'm going to make a point to do all that. Like, I'm not sure every player would. I think they'd stay back or avoid that, sit in the locker room until game time. So, no, that was a good wide-ranging conversation. You're right.
Scott Agnes joining us now on the Payless Liquors hotline. He covers the Fever and the Pacers over at the Fieldhouse Files. 18-15 now for this team. They've struggled a little bit. I think lost 3 of their last 4. Is it turnovers? Is it not point guard play? What's going on with this team right now? And just can they survive until Caitlin Clark gets back?
Yeah, to me, the number one thing is defense. And it's mainly because, too, they've talked about how much that leads to their offensive end. And so if they're playing in the half court, if it allows for the defense to get set, then they're still been a little bit disorganized on the offensive end. But to me, it's defensively not staying in front of their man and then fouling, all those fouls piling up and players out of place. That's to me where they got to figure it out and come together on that front. And they're still figuring out some, I think, with lineups and rotations. You have all these, or not, you got several new players, right, with Odyssey Sims and still Chloe Bibby as well. Chicago, I don't think the Chicago win was a great representation just of how bad that team is. And the Fever have had their number all season long. I think the Fever are probably in the middle of what we saw against Chicago versus also what we saw against the Wings. Because that Wings game, much of that game was a putrid performance. They just were not showing up well at either end of the floor. And obviously the point guards thing is an issue. And it will remain that for the rest of the season as players are going to have to sacrifice and play out of position. But it's got to improve defensively.
Just curious, schedule release coming for the NBA today, including the Pacers. What do we know right now? What are you looking forward to see?
We know 5 games so far. We know opening night, home opener, season opener will be that October 23rd against OKC. I'm calling it Game 10, Jeff, because you had obviously Game 7. They played in Summer League. We know they're going to meet in the preseason. And then by this time, I think we'll wrap up all the storylines and put a bow on this past season. And then the 4 dates for group play for the NBA Cup. But there's so many different things we're all paying attention to, right? Is any more holiday games, which does not obviously seem to be the case. Those are the ones they've announced. You're looking forward to national TV games. We already know they have 2. They had 9 last year, I think 3 the year before that. And then it's just looking at key matchups, reunion dates. When's the first Milwaukee game, right? That might be the number one game many people are looking forward to. But we'll know all that by this afternoon.
I need to know when the Bucks are coming to town. And also, I will, again, bet the over on the amount of boos that Myles Turner receives because that's just how fans are. But one question I do have, Scott, in regards to the schedule for the Pacers, do you think they'll receive 9 or more national TV games or less because of the Halliburton injury?
I am taking the under. What about you?
I think I'll take the under as well, but I just don't know, how much respect did they earn from last year and how much of the business is just cutthroat? It's like, well, you lost your star and, there goes your national TV games.
That's got to be what it is. Not only did you lose Halliburton, you lost Turner. We don't know what to make of you right now.
Fair.
Therefore, I was actually kind of surprised they already have 2 that are announced. I feel like the number probably, and I think this is one of the biggest things fans pay attention to, I'd probably set it right at 4.5.
Okay. That's fair.
Scott, last one for me. I do think, and you can say it's pretty much every NBA team, a backloaded schedule in today's NBA where teams are resting guys, especially late in seasons, I think is really beneficial. Last year, for example, the Cleveland games, we saw that late in the regular season. They barely played anybody against the Pacers. I also think it's extra beneficial to this year's Pacer team because, Nembhard in a new role, Matherin in a new role, pretty much everybody is in some sort of new role or asked to do different things. I think it'd be highly beneficial if, a Western trip is late in the year and, again, some of these more marquee opponents falls in the March-April window because I do think the Pacers will be a different team come, spring 2026 and what they're going to be at the start of the year. Am I making too much of that?
I think you are a little bit because of the continuity of this roster otherwise. Like this isn't take the Fever for example. They only had 5 returning players from last year. This Pacer team, you're changing the starting lineup and you have to figure it out at the center position. But outside of that, a ton of continuity. And if anything, I would argue for that early road trip out west earlier on, because that allows for them to have that more time together. Is what I lean on. I like those road trips early on in the season in November, December, because it forces you to be with each other 7 to 10 days. Now, again, I think it's different because this group's continuity. But I think the biggest thing more than anything I'd stress is you hope not to have those awful back-to-backs or the 4 games in 7 days and that type of thing, much more so than kind of that front-loaded schedule.
Always good to talk to you, Scott. Enjoy the day, and we will talk to you soon. And happy schedule release day, I guess.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys. Thank
There
you.
he is from the Fieldhouse Files, Scott Agnes on the Payless Liquors hotline. Coming up in a moment, is the AFC South truly up for grabs? One national publication thinks so. We'll talk about it next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Schedule coming out later today for the Pacers and the NBA. We'll look forward to that. JMV is going to be up at Colts camp from 3 to 6 this afternoon, where Packers will be taking on the Green Bay Packers in a joint scrimmage. You are all over it today. You are all over it today. I like that. Saw something the other day, which is interesting, and don't take too much from it, but ESPN.com had the ceiling and the floor for every team in the NFL, and they did it by division. It's funny that they have Houston, Jacksonville, and the Colts with their ceiling, not necessarily predicting that, but their ceilings each at 11-6. Floors are a little bit different, but all of them have pretty low floors too, which tells me that nationally people don't know what to think about any of the teams in the AFC South, James.
I think they should roll with Houston. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Well, they've got for a ceiling 11. They've got them first, but their ceiling is 11-6. But they've also got their floor at 6-11. And their question is, can the group protect quarterback C.J. Stroud and establish the line of scrimmage in the run game? So they're worried about the offensive line for the Texans.
Yeah, that is a big question for Houston this year. I can definitely agree with that. But if you're asking me, quarterback play. Which quarterback is the best in the division? Easily, C.J. Stroud.
Can
Second
Trevor
best?
Lawrence be that guy?
He could be. But as far as the Colts' purposes go, you're basically trying to figure out, are we going to be last or second to last? Because I don't think you're having a better quarterback than either of those two.
11 wins for the Colts isn't the ceiling. That's the stratosphere, I feel like.
Yeah,
we get 11 wins. I mean, we're having a parade out
11
there.
wins, you got a home playoff game, you won the division, and you're probably expected to win your home playoff game, right? I mean, if you're going 11-6, that's a great record.
They've got the floor for the Colts at 5-12, Kevin.
When's the last time they won 11 games?
That's the floor. It's 5-12.
I mean, you know the old saying, I say it almost annually, and yet the Colts have been unable to take advantage of it. God bless the AFC South. It is the gift that keeps on giving. It gives you a chance. It's mediocre. It stinks. It's the worst of the four divisions, the AFC. And I think that's what makes it the most frustrating aspect of 10 years now without a division title. It's not like you are the Raiders with Patrick Mahomes in the AFC West or the Jets with Josh Allen in the AFC East. You have been unable to win a division where, Ryan Tannehill has won it a couple times.
Can you name the last two quarterbacks the Colts have had?
Brock Osweiler, maybe.
Can you name the last two quarterbacks the Colts have had that have won 11 games?
Andrew.
Did Uncle Phil do it?
Uncle Phil.
And Andrew. Yeah, Phil
Either of these quarterbacks as good as those guys?
Phillip Rivers was really, he wasn't a great quarterback at the end of his career, but he was really effective when he was here. He was
great for these standards, and that's why I don't know. That is interesting to me. It could go a couple of different ways, but as I've said, my hot take, which I think is kind of funny but kind of serious, if the Colts lose their season opener, they're not making the playoffs. There's my hot take for the season.
That's JMV. You're stealing JMV's thunder. Must win.
What must win, right?
He stole it from me first. I said this is like 2 months ago.
He calls must wins.
He's been doing that for years.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I guess I'm a little late.
You're stealing his takes. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Maybe a little bit
I'm going
later.
to try to steal his hair later on.
No, but I think there's something to it. Go ahead and explain your thinking on that, too.
To do something different, you got to be different. And I feel like they lose their season opener every year.
I would add who the opponent is, too. That is a team that could squarely be in the wild card mix. Like
Yeah,
if
fair.
you were playing, the Seattle Seahawks week 1, yes, obviously a win in week 1 would help, but it doesn't have the same sort of AFC potential
Fair.
wild card win. I think the fact that, and I'd stretch it to week 2 as well, the fact that you get Miami and Denver week 1 and 2, I just think are monumental games.
And I stretch it to week 3 because it's your
mid-December.
first divisional game, too.
Yeah, but Tennessee stinks.
I know, but my point is, if you can get 2 of those 3, or God forbid all 3, you're rolling.
Right. And they just don't do that to start the year. So can that be the year, Jeff? Can this be the year where they actually start off a season without having been behind the 8 ball?
Do you think maybe some point in the 9 o'clock hour, you brought up Phil Rivers. It got me thinking back to that Jordan Love draft. It weirdly, when you think of Colts Packers, it's not like you think of a lot of overlap. They're not in the same conference.
Right.
But, we mentioned it a little bit earlier in the show. We can get back to it. But I think Green Bay, had real interest in Jonathan Taylor. And there's always been a question, I think, from Colts fans of, was Jordan Love a possibility back in that 2020 draft? So we'll have a little bit on that. Maybe we do that coming up at the 9 o'clock hour.
Looking forward to that. Also, Doug Russell, who does the pregame show for the Green Bay Packers, is going to join us at the top of the hour and give us a little more information about what they're trying to accomplish, knowing that Jordan Love is not going to be there, that he's out for the rest of the preseason. I don't think that when you have, and I think you start to call Jordan Love a bit of a veteran quarterback at this point in time, I don't think that's too much of a handicap for them the rest of the preseason, is it?
Not really. I mean, if you're a Green Bay Packers fan, you're just saying, will the guy suit up for week 1 and be available?
You can't keep saying the full name, otherwise I have to play the sounder. That's the rule.
The green and yellow team.
I was going to say, what is going on here? But
They
fair
were
enough.
terrible in their preseason opener, Green Bay, with their starters.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Matt LaFleur was extremely unhappy, both sides of the ball. The Jets really dusted them.
You want to talk about sports arousal? I could watch that game and, might have a fourth kid on the way.
in the first half there.
That reverse science here.
I'm sure
There's nothing like Packers.
I'm sure Ashley
hate.
would love that.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to look at but even then, like, they're another team that is used to winning.
Is that the best
a
division
lot.
of football, Mark? NFC North?
I mean, I would say so, especially this year. Seems
AFC
like,
North or NFC North?
I will say NFC North only because there's a lot of unknowns, but they all look pretty stacked teams. Like the Lions lost like every coordinator imaginable, but they still have, pretty good players on there.
Yeah.
The Vikings, they lost Sam Darnold, but, Kevin McConnell is a pretty good wizard when it comes to quarterback play. So
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell, sorry.
TJ is now coaching.
I thought
so
Kevin
what is
McAllister when he said that out loud.
what is J.J. McCarthy going to bring to the table? They still have Justin Jefferson, obviously, and all that. They look really good. The Packers are a big unknown. I mean, they've always been pretty consistent, but you look at that wide receiver group. Their wide receiver group is not going to scare anybody. That looks like a whole room of threes out there.
I am excited to see what Matthew Golden's going to be all about, though.
Yeah, he might be their number one by the end of the season. And obviously the Bears have a lot of pressure. They spend a lot of big money to bring Ben Johnson in town. They've overhauled that entire coaching staff, which is just insane if you look at their coaching staff, who they all have. So can they finally put it all together and get Caleb Williams on track? They've rehauled their offensive line and all that stuff. So it is an up for grabs division. I would vote for the NFC North because I think every game that they have is going to be a slugfest week in and week out.
All right, we're going to find out a little bit more about that team from Wisconsin, Mark. Coming up.
See, I know
it
what you're
doesn't
trying
matter.
to do, and I'm not going to allow it to slide.
We'll do it next. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good Thursday morning to you. The Colts and Packers have a joint scrimmage later on this afternoon up at Grand Park. JMV is going to be live on the scene there from 3 to 6. And, of course, we'll tell you how everything works out. In the meantime, we're waiting for the NBA schedule release. That's supposed to come out later on today as well, though we've learned a few dates already. We'll get to that. We'll check in on the fan text line at 239-1070 a little bit later on in the hour. But right
Hurt
now,
your eyes sometimes, too, because there might be some questionable material.
Yeah.
Nobody else can see it, though.
Well, Jeff,
you
well,
can.
they meant for Jeff, so
Yeah.
I'll avert my eyes. Jeff, you do as you please.
Did get a spicy one this morning, didn't we?
Yeah, ain't no we. Don't drag me into Christine. Ain't about to be getting mad at me. This is you.
Oh my!
Oh my goodness! Let's check the Payless Liquors hotline right now. My good friend Doug Russell does the pregame show for the Packers up there. On remind me which. I know it's a couple of stations you work for. Which one's the pregame show on?
The pregame show's on the statewide network, so it's on in Milwaukee on 97.3 The Game, on in Green Bay on WNFL Radio. Madison is WTSO Radio, so yeah, it's on a few places.
I like that, though. It's good to talk to you again, Doug, and we've got joint practices with the Packers today, but no Jordan Love and a bunch of injuries piling up for the Packers. What can Colts fans who are going up there today expect to see?
I think that you're going to see a competitive team that, yeah, they've got a couple of injuries. Jordan Love's not going to be there, obviously. He had a procedure done on his thumb earlier in the week. Listen, I would rather you got to see Jordan Love than not got to see Jordan Love, but, that's the danger of playing in the preseason, I suppose. But, yeah, there's a few guys that are a little bit banged up, but, Jaden Reed is in a walking boot, so you're not going to be able to see him. Romeo Dobbs is a little bit banged up. Christian Watson tore his ACL last year. He's an exciting player that you're not going to see. Nate Hobbs, their new right cornerback, they're trying to make up for the loss of Jair Alexander, who didn't really play all that much the last couple of seasons. He's now in Baltimore after they released him. They tried to trade him the entire offseason, weren't able to, but Nate Hobbs, they signed him from the Las Vegas Raiders, and he comes in, he bangs up his knee, so he's not going to be available. Quake Walker's not going to be there. So, yeah, there's Xavier McKinney. He was first-team All-Pro last year. He's not going to be there. So you are going to see guys like Evan Williams. You are going to see guys like Keyshawn Nixon. Edgerrin Cooper, who had a marvelous rookie season. You're going to be able to see him. I think it's a good Packers team, but, yeah, they're dealing with some injuries right now.
Doug, where would you consider, I guess, healthy strengths? Obviously, you just laid out Whiteout and a little bit in the secondary, banged up, Jordan Love, of course. But, healthy strengths are where for evaluation-wise for the Colts today?
I think, Josh Jacobs is healthy. So he's one of the elite running backs in the National Football League. They got both of their second and, I guess, third running backs. They're not quite sure what the depth chart is going to look like, whether or not it's going to be Emmanuel Wilson or Marshawn Lloyd behind Josh Jacobs. But both of those guys returned. They love Chris Brooks. He's going to be back. So their offensive backfield, aside from Jordan Love, so the running backs, that's a healthy position for them. Matthew Golden is their first-round draft choice out of the University of Texas. He has caught everything thrown his way at practice so far this summer. Some of the best hands I've ever seen, and he's a rookie. He's got speed to burn, a little bit undersized. If you watched him at Texas, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But just amazing hands. I think they've got great tight ends in Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave. Speaking of health, those guys are finally healthy and on the same field at the same time. They were drafted in back-to-back rounds in the second round and in the third round 2 years ago, and it's been a struggle to keep both of those guys on the field at the same time. The offensive line is a little bit banged up, but it's not too bad. At left guard, you've got Aaron Banks. He's a newcomer. Sean Ryan at right guard. So the interior is good. Zach Tom just signed a long-term contract, and he's going to be on the field today. He's maybe one of the most underrated right tackles. The Packers don't have him underrated, but one of the most underrated right tackles in the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, there's some guys that you can evaluate, absolutely. There are some injuries. There's no question about it, but there are some places where you can have some good evaluation.
Doug, we know that Matt LaFleur was not pleased after the preseason opener. So from, I guess, the Packers' angle, what things would they like to, I guess, execute or show, despite the injuries, against the Colts later today?
They'd like to do everything better than they did against the Jets.
Fair.
I mean, that was a thorough drubbing that took place at Lambeau Field. It was sloppy, a lot of penalties, a lot of drops, a lot of pre-snap stuff that just can't happen, a lot of holding penalties. Yeah, everything that you saw in that film, they'd like to do better. I mean, literally every aspect. The kicking game was okay. Brandon McManus made a field goal, didn't miss one. Yeah, that's all I got.
I feel like I had to wash my eyes out or
terrible.
something, or wash my mouth out with soap after asking you this question. That was tough.
They were terrible. They were honestly. And Matt LaFleur said, I'm not breaking any news here. That's the first thing that Matt LaFleur said at his post-game press conference. He's like, if you're going to do this, you're going to get your A kicked. And he was right. If you're going to play like this, you're going to get your kicked. And they got their kicked.
One follow-up.
That's a great sound effect.
Thank you.
When it comes to the quarterback, obviously Malik Willis will get, I would imagine, the reps today at quarterback. And I remember last year in week 2, he did enough to obviously get the Packers to a win. So from that aspect, what do you hope to see from him? And I guess how can the Colts kind of challenge him? Because I think that he is, if it comes down to it, he could be a key to the season if, Jordan Love misses a game or two.
Oh, Malik Willis saved their season a year ago. And a lot of that had to do, again, with the game against you guys in week 2. Jordan Love, as you guys know, wasn't able to play. Had the knee injury that was suffered at the end of the week 1 game against the Eagles in Sao Paulo. And Malik Willis, who had been in Green Bay for exactly 19 days, took a modified playbook and mastered it. And I thought it was Matt LaFleur's best game. I thought it was a game that Malik Willis really showed why the Packers were unhappy with either Michael Pratt or Sean Clifford, their backup quarterbacks who were vying for that number 2 spot. They cut them both at the end of training camp and then went out and traded for Malik Willis, figuring that, well, he'll have time to at least perhaps digest the playbook before before they need to deploy him. No, not really. Less than 3 weeks later, he's in there starting a game. He started against you guys, against Indianapolis, of course, at Lambeau Field, won that game. A week later, Jordan Love's still unavailable, went to his old place, the team, and played against the team that he came from, the Tennessee Titans. Packers were able to win that game as well. Week 8, Jordan got hurt again. Malik Willis came in Jacksonville, a game that probably was a little bit closer than it should have been, and the Packers were able to win that game, and Malik Willis played well there. So those 3 wins that Malik Willis you can put on his resume, the Packers wouldn't have made the playoffs without those 3 wins. Malik Willis is one of those guys that if you don't need – there's an old saying, you don't need a backup quarterback until you need a backup quarterback, and the Packers are very fortunate that they have a very good backup quarterback in Malik Willis. So he's clearly the number 2, but you're also going to see Sean Clifford and Taylor Elgersma. Those 2 guys are vying for – I guess it would be the third quarterback, but it's going to be a practice squad position. But that's the real competition right now. It's between Clifford and the kid from Canada, Elgersma.
Doug Russell's with us here. You hear him on Green Bay Packers radio, previewing today's joint practice, 3 to 5 today up in Westfield. Final day for the Colts at Grand Park. Doug, a couple of years ago, training camp for the Colts often looked like, where's Jonathan Taylor, and does he have his hood up or is his hood down? As the contract negotiations played out, it led to Jim Irsay showing up in his bus at one point, Jonathan Taylor going on the bus. Eventually, after about 4 weeks of the season, Taylor got a new contract. But the hot rumor back then was the Green Bay Packers really had serious interest in Taylor. What do you recall, if anything, about that?
Well, I think a lot of that was smoke because Jonathan Taylor, of course, went to the University of Wisconsin. He's a fan favorite. If you're a Packers fan, you're probably a Badgers fan. It seemed that there was a natural fit there. They could have used maybe a little bit more depth at the position at the time. I think that's what they thought that they were going to get with A.J. Dillon to be kind of that second guy alongside Aaron Jones. Never really panned out. A.J. Dillon's now with Philadelphia Eagles. Great young man, but just was never that feature back that the Packers were looking for. And that's why they went out and they got Josh Jacobs, last season or before last season. So, yeah, I recall that there was some talk about it, but I think that was more maybe some Packers wish casting than anything else. But I remember it vaguely. I'll put it that way, because I don't think there was anything. I don't really think there was that much to it in Green Bay.
Always good to talk to you, buddy. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Have fun. You're gonna be up in the studio for this preseason game, though, right? You're not coming down.
I will be, yes, unfortunately. But it was good to see you at the combine.
Yeah, always good to talk to you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, JR.
There he is, Doug Russell, pregame host on the Packers Radio Network, joining us here on the Payless Liquors hotline. And it's preseason standard operating procedure this weekend. But somebody pointed out. Here we are at the end of camp after today, and you still don't have a starting quarterback. That can't be good, right?
Probably not, but I mean, when did they expect to announce a starter?
I guess people would have liked for somebody to have clearly stepped up, I think is the point.
Oh, no, neither guy has, and I don't think they will, honestly.
I'll add one thing on that little comment there to Doug to end it on the Jonathan Taylor Green Bay front. It kind of falls into a category, James, of where I'm at with the Colts right now with whatever. Terry McLaurin, Trey Hendrickson, Micah Parsons, all this stuff. I think there is a thought that Green Bay seriously considered trading a very high draft pick for Jonathan Taylor. But at that point in time, again, that was 2 training camps ago, Jordan Love was not yet what we've seen. Jordan Love has established himself over the last 2 years as a very, very quality quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
But at that time, there was still an unknown. And so I think Green Bay looked at it and said, well, we have a running back need. We just can't push all those chips into the middle of the table until we find out what we have at quarterback. Because we might need that in the draft. And that is exactly how I view the Colts right now. Sure, you'd love to go out and get Micah Parsons. You'd love to go out and get Trey Hendrickson. You'd love to go out and get Terry McLaurin. But you can't do that until you feel good about the centerpiece of your organization. So again, I think Green Bay had real, serious, legit interest, but they had a threshold, and the Colts wanted them probably to go to a bigger threshold, and then Green Bay, given their quarterback situation, couldn't go there. Now again, Jordan Love has panned out, obviously, and Josh Jacobs has turned out to be a really nice piece that they found in free agency, but that's kind of how I view the Colts when some of these bigger names get brought up right now.
Yeah, and like I said, you're looking for you probably get more out of this joint practice than you do in the Saturday preseason game, or you think it's important, both of them?
In regards to the Colts?
Yeah, I guess particularly about the quarterback position.
Oh, I mean, both things, honestly, are probably huge. Yeah, I would think maybe in the joint practice because you can manufacture more scenarios. So you can probably go red zone for a period if you want to. You can go 2-minute. You can go just regular 11 on 11. And so I think, yes, that is a huge part of this. But also, like I keep telling you all, the live element of actual tackling and actually being hit, having real pressure is going to be a factor too, because we saw in the preseason opener, unfortunately for Anthony Richardson, that it was a factor. The physicality was a factor. He got hit and he got hurt. So I think that, after this weekend, you would like to have an answer at quarterback, but I'm not sitting here saying that, you'll have a very clear definitive answer because neither quarterback has given you one, and I don't know if they will give you one at this point.
Do you go by JR? I heard
I sign everything JR.
Doug
Some
just
people call
called
me
you
that.
JR.
Yeah, back when we were both working at Sporting News Radio, people call me JR there. Have you guys ever noticed on every time I sign something back, like on a text or an email, it's always JR.
JR.
Well, should we change the title of the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's KB, right? No one calls me KB outside of this world. Like, no, I've never been called KB until I showed up on radio.
No one called you Kevy either before.
Well,
Kevy Wevy.
Outside of Grandma, rest in peace.
But it was done in love, Kevin.
And then James is referred to as JB in the show title. So should we change it up? KB, JB, and JR?
The graphics people are going to be really ticked at you if we do that. I don't care, but the people who have to do all the work to change everything probably have it set.
Doug caught me off guard there. I was like, JR.
I was thinking about J.R. Ryder.
Well, yeah.
J.R. Smith.
J.R. Ryder. He was an interesting cat.
J.R. And then I'm thinking, boy, I think I went to junior high with a J.R. as well. But
like Jim Ross.
I'm like, wait a minute, that's Jeff Rickard.
Oh, J.R. I think that might be what the that photo said at the end. To J.R. with love.
You seem to be the one stuck on that photo.
No.
How many times you gone back to that thing there?
Nah, I'm just saying. I'm jealous.
It's Mark's wallpaper now.
I haven't received. Have you all received anything in the chat like that?
It's Mark's wallpaper now.
I'm not turning it down.
But I think it wasn't it wasn't from the woman, though. It was like from her boyfriend, right?
She had to have consent, I would assume. Someone said Mark's restraint
I
during
don't judge.
Aaron in the chat said, or in the text line said, Mark's restraint during this interview is commendable. Thank you. I really restrained myself.
I did think about that.
And just to paint a little bit more of a picture, early we have opened up the text line 317-239-1070. Thank you to all that have participated. Great to see the YouTube chat is still alive and well. The text line, we haven't gotten many. I did not know that they allowed images. And earlier in the show, directed towards Jeff here, was sent a picture that I believe they would label that, is it NSFW?
Yes.
Yeah,
Probably not safe for work. But
It-
it wasn't it wasn't like completely explicit either.
It was
Whoa,
very
I don't know.
Man,
I
Tell
would
that
be,
to HR.
I have not sent
Look,
that
I'm
in
not-
my day.
I'm not
and
caught
Lord
up on
knows
my
I haven't
computer.
received one of those
Yeah.
either. So when I saw that, boy, did I exit out quickly.
Yeah. I was honestly thinking, you know what, YouTube
Man.
chat, you never did me like this.
No.
Why am I the
no.
one taking heat for getting sent something?
Who needs a
What you
second cup of
mean? You set it up. You set up our text
you're
chain.
baby.
You got us.
No need for
You got
Jeff's
us hooked
second cup
up.
of coffee today
Yeah.
once he saw that picture.
We're
He
on
was
coffee.
locked and loaded.
Yeah, number 3 today, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Number
that's a
3
little action
today.
there.
All right. Did you
call
learn
that
anything
a-
about the Packers and joint practices later on today,
There's
Kevin?
something of a landing that they call that a land.
Yeah.
Was there something? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, linebacker and corner remain undecided in terms of a starter. You bring up, obviously it's not ideal when your quarterback is unknown on August 14th, but yeah, I think for the most part in previous years, I could pretty much write the depth chart down, at least in pen, if not Sharpie. And right now, who starts next to Zaire Franklin and who is that third corner will definitely be up for grab spots. And, you got really 3 key evaluation periods. Today, Saturday, and then next Saturday, we'll see how much the starters play in Cincinnati. So linebacker and corner remain that. And it does sound like, and I think Doug kind of hinted at it, it does sound like Green Bay's relatively healthy in the trenches. So I think anytime you face, how much of Latu really being disruptive right now is just he knows Braden Smith. I mean, there is a part of that, I think, in training camp where once you know a guy, sometimes you can just fully take advantage of that. So that's a question I would have.
Yeah. I think for me, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to Saturday as much as anything is we talked about it last week, a lot of the new food items that'll be available at Lucas Oil. I'm going to make a run on the concourse and just see what's out there and available because some of those things look good.
I was going to say, well, one of them has already gone viral.
The one viral one looked like Max Bowen potty training.
Yeah, the one viral I'm probably not going to try.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it
was that
tastes
one?
fine.
It was
I
a
missed that
pretzel in
one.
the shape of a horseshoe, but it looked like something else.
It looked like dung.
Yeah.
Bring it on this way. I
It
guess.
looked like Grand Park dung, Mark. Remember that?
Somebody sent me a picture of the Iowa State Fair logo. It's not real, but I wished it was because if you saw a picture of that, you'd be like, that is right up Mark's alley. Let's just say it's 2
I have
hay
seen it.
barrels and a silo, and they
Yeah.
were pieced together, and it looks like something. It says Iowa State Fair welcomes
James is
you.
putting his hands up like he wants no part of this. Shout out to Charles and Isaiah Ryder. Thank you, James, for that drop. Charles here. I used to get ganja from a guy who supplied Isaiah Ryder when I lived in Portland. So there you go.
Look
Full
at that
circle.
story.
Yeah.
Full circle there.
That's hilarious.
But
Isaiah Ryder, why am I picking? Did he win a dunk contest?
yes, he did. He was a terrific athlete.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
NBA champion.
But to put a point on it, I'm looking forward to the barbecue pork rib sandwich and the pizza box nachos. That's what I'm going to try this weekend. Those
Oh,
sound
you're
good
going to
you.
the State Fair?
No, at the Colts game.
Oh, at the Colts game.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got a bunch of new stuff out there. I'm looking forward to trying it.
All right.
That to me, that's what I'm most looking forward to about Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I actually think that, to your point earlier, Jeff, to go back to your question about what's more important, perhaps, the Colts, period, need to play their quarterbacks in both the joint practices and the preseason game. But considering how banged up the Packers are, I wouldn't expect to see many of their starters, obviously, Saturday. So today could be really big for the Colts' development and their ability to see some real live action against players that obviously are banged up, but for the most part, the rest of the starters, that are going to be playing on Sundays.
All right, coming up in a moment, you got to know today, Mark? Is that what we have coming up?
I always have to know, but yeah, especially today. I feel like we should dust that one off and
All right.
get into some things.
That's coming up in a moment. In the meantime, let's check things down.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You know by now, you've been listening all morning long. It's 3 o'clock this afternoon, joint practice with the Green Bay Packers.
Packers suck!
And the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, that hit like crack all of a sudden. I haven't done that in like 10 minutes. That was a good feeling right there.
It's just muscle memory now, isn't it?
Well, I had to restrain myself because Doug was on, and then I have like fingernail prints on the table right now.
Yeah. What is it going to be pretty much a 50-50 breakdown for the two quarterbacks today in joint practices?
I would imagine it's been 50-50 pretty much the entirety of camp, so yes.
All right. And obviously still don't get to hit the quarterback today either, right? Do they?
I would assume it's live.
I was going to take a wild guess.
Wait, is this a serious question? Hitting the quarterback?
Yeah, I was like, is that a serious question?
No, I'm just letting people know.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the brawl that would happen if one of these quarterbacks got hit? No.
I was waiting for the punchline.
Well, to the point of, you've been talking about the fact that several times completions are made, and in your mind, James, they wouldn't really be completions during a regular game.
Well, yeah, that doesn't mean you get to hit the quarterback in joint practice.
No.
Red jerseys, red jerseys, red jerseys.
Only time the quarterback's getting hit is if a 6-year-old's on a bike aiming straight at him.
Yep.
I think.
I know. That was the rumor.
Just here to lay it out for you guys. Later on today, it's a schedule release for the NBA, and the Pacers already know their opening game. We learned that last week. We know when they're going to play in the Commissioner's Cup, but we want to know when the Milwaukee Bucks are coming to town, right, James?
I do. I need to know
and
when.
I think Myles Turner wants to know.
I know. I think he probably checked as well. I believe someone in the YouTube chat or on the text line was like, do you think Myles Turner wants to know? Absolutely. That's the first game he's checking. Got to know where you're going back to enemy territory now.
There's no way he plays well in that game, right?
I wouldn't say that. Now,
really?
Yeah.
You think he's mentally equipped for all that?
He's got Giannis.
No, he doesn't have them.
So that helps. I don't know.
But we have John Halliburton.
Is he going to get on the face after the game? And if the Pacers win and wave the towel on Myles' face? I think that he'll play fine. I mean, he's used to the environment, used to the gym.
Would that be the first sellout?
Different environment, though, than he's used to in this building.
Will Myles Turner's return game be the first game to sell out when tickets go on sale for the regular season?
Probably, honestly.
Would that be the hottest ticket on the Pacers schedule?
I would certainly want to be there. As a fan, as a media member, I got to be there.
Like, you don't have the Wembanyama. I'm trying to, Cooper Flagg, I guess, will play here once.
The other one would be like the season opener against the Thunder. Yeah. But I would have to think like the pizzazz, like the big game, the one that everyone's going to be wanting to go to is when Myles Turner comes back.
Does the winner get a game ball? The game ball?
Doesn't mean you
handed by John Halliburton.
Yeah.
I think that Myles could have a good game coming back. Seriously.
Okay.
I think that.
Circle that when the game.
We'll get back to that later on down the line.
Oh, yeah.
Major League Baseball last night. The Reds, Kevin, inching to within a game of a playoff spot
they
with
might
another
win it
big
all this
win.
year.
You going all in? I'll go all in with you with the Reds. They beat the Phillies by a score of 8-0. Things were going well. Hunter Green, now 5-3 with an ERA of 2.47. Nice to see him back on the mound.
I would agree. So, great work by the Reds. The Mets are absolutely reeling. Here we go. Can we get Reds Cubs? I guess. How does a wild card even work?
Well, if Milwaukee wins the division and the Reds and Cubs could
giving
both
that up. I mean, they're red hot.
What's the bracket? The wild card teams and the worst division winner play each other. Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be possible then.
It could be.
Okay.
Boy, then we'll really have to be finding Mondos in Texas.
Dear Lord, man, I'm going to be going to Antarctica to try and find them.
Told you, I'm coming up with like 90 snacks that are discontinued. Like, okay, Kevin, find them. Go ahead. Go find them. PB Crisps. Do you remember those?
No,
They're
those
the peanut butter.
Ringing a bell.
They looked like peanut butter, peanut shells, but inside was like creamy peanut butter.
Oh, that actually sounds good.
It was amazing. They were delicious.
Okay.
Doritos 3Ds, also great.
I thought Doritos 3Ds were overrated. And I'm coming from you're coming from someone that half his diet is nacho cheese Doritos.
Yeah, and fettuccine Alfredo, yeah.
That's probably.
See me after the show, Mark. I know where there's a
35%.
secret stash of nachos, of
Okay.
Doritos here at the station.
Say no more.
Can you tell me this, or is this?
Yeah,
I'm about to say,
I'll show you.
man.
I'll show you.
Let's do a show trip to the janitor's closet.
A little nervous.
7 minutes in heaven.
I'm a little nervous there if Tracy and his girlfriend are waiting for you there.
Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, coming up in a moment. Mark's got to know. He's got questions. We'll try to have answers. It's next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Yeah, everybody over here with the heads bobbing up and down, headbanging over here, Mark.
Let's go, Mark.
Dig it.
This is Kevin's favorite Papa Roach song.
Aggressive. Let's go.
Rolling.
Actually, Limp Bizkit, but Kevin likes to think that this is Papa Roach.
We need this at about 2:59 today.
I know.
These teams are getting together.
Right after my motivational speech, we'll play Rolling.
I would honestly love to see that. Mark would probably stand up there and tell you, men, let's talk about hate and how much we need to conquer the day.
Again, shout out to good Jimmy. He suggested that Mark get a little PA system run here with his Packers sounder, not only today in Westfield, but I believe Saturday inside of Lucas Oil
I feel like
Stadium.
Mark would end his statement by taking a cheese head and just punting it.
Oh, I do a lot worse than that. I'd be dropping trow, I think.
Maybe. I was going to say
This is
maybe.
what they think of those guys over there.
I was going to say maybe Mark can bang the anvil, but now I'm reconsidering.
I would
The cows
welcome
aren't
that.
the only ones making fertilizer around here.
Or the pretzels,
No.
as the case may be. All right, Mark, it's your time to shine once again here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
He's got questions.
How about a game?
They've got answers.
Hey, I'm more of a cornhole man myself.
Sports, music, movies. What? High fashion.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
And everything in between.
You ever seen a foot with 4 toes?
It's time to get a glimpse into the mind of Mark Dykton.
Stop it, you're scaring me.
It's time for I Gotta Know.
Okay, you punks, I want a good, clean fight. Let's get it on.
All right, boys, let's start it off real simple here. True or false, by this time next week, the Colts will have announced their week 1 starting quarterback.
True. They will announce the starting quarterback sometime next week after this week's preseason game. And we will know going into the last preseason game in Cincinnati who the starting quarterback is. True.
I'm not convinced that they don't already know. I just don't feel like Daniel Jones has done enough. And I know you guys have said he's had some solid days up there. I just can't imagine them taking that starting spot away from Anthony Richardson right at the beginning. Now, if he loses it over the course of 1 or 2 games because of his play, I get that. But, man, they seem to be tied to him despite what they say publicly. Deep down, I feel like they're tied to Anthony Richardson.
So you don't believe the opposite of if you start Anthony Richardson as soon as you bench him, then the season's over, and that's bad PR?
I think if he gets benched now or after a couple of games in the season, it's the end of him here, one way or the other.
You can't go back to him if you start Daniel Jones and he's bad.
Well, you
after a
might
few
have
weeks.
to if he gets hurt, but, man, I don't – it's just hard for me
it's
to
a great
believe.
question, Mark. I'll give a very soft true. I don't see Shane super married to wanting to carry this out through the Cincinnati game. Now, again, today's the last day we watch the Colts in a full practice setting through the rest of the year. After today, all we'll watch is, 20, 30 minutes. So, I mean, I guess does Shane feel the need to publicly say that? Shane doesn't strike me as a guy that would go out of his way for that either. So, yeah, a very soft true.
Okay, I broached this topic with you guys yesterday off air, but I thought it was a good on-air topic to bring up. What would determine a successful season for Anthony Richardson in your mind? Now, this doesn't have to be purely statistical. It could be. But just what is success for Anthony Richardson in 2025 in your mind?
Play at least 14 games. That way, you at least can successfully evaluate if you want to keep him around. Because the conversation through the first 2 years is, well, he's been hurt. If he hadn't got hurt, what if he was healthy? Well, play 14 games or more. If you don't, then there's your answer. He's not your guy.
Yeah, I think that is the obvious one, availability, but he also has got to show you something as a quarterback. Because when you say successful, Mark, to me, that means you're picking up his 5th-year option. If you're picking up his 5th-year option, that is a huge financial increase. That means he's got to show you more than just simply playing quarterback. Right. That's obviously a huge part of it, but he also has got to show you that the arrow is back pointing up on his individual play. So what's that? More accuracy, more methodical passing game, less turnovers, just a little bit more week-to-week consistency than we've seen.
The ability to stay healthy and move the chains. And I'm going to go one step further. I think this entire team, it's a referendum on the general manager, the head coach, the quarterback. Not only does he need to stay healthy, they've got to find a way to make the playoffs.
Fair.
And that's it. To me, it's all or nothing for them and this entire group.
They missed the playoffs. Yeah, probably everyone is on a very, very hot seat.
I mean,
what if Richardson looks great and the defense looks like Lou Anarumo's defense in Cincinnati?
I still feel like you can make that. You can make that decision. Your eyes will tell you that, okay, well, he's actually showing the strides that we need to be seeing from him. The defense, that's obviously disappointing, but if you're seeing Anthony Richardson show like exponential growth, then I feel like you feel really good heading into the next year plus with him.
Does that buy Shane Steichen another year? And you say, that the Colts front office says, hey, we've seen him develop this young quarterback. He's good.
Boy, I can't let my mind go there just yet. I mean, that general thought confuses the hell out of me. Because, if Richardson has a great quarterback year for him, your defense is one of the worst in the league, first-year defensive coordinator, whatever, growing pains. Every part of you is like, oh, yeah, you fire Ballard and Steichen. So now Richardson is with the new offense?
Which can't be good for him.
No.
At that point in time.
Again, this is why it makes the season. If you don't laugh, then you're going to cry. So.
That's why it's a great question.
Yeah. Mine is can he show a 10% improvement on completion percent?
Oh boy, Mark.
10.
Ooh, Mark.
That's a
okay.
big step.
Okay, listen.
Mark, can we split it in half?
Big step.
Can we split it in half?
And can I be on the front cover of Playgirl next month?
He was at 47% last year. 47%. So a 10% increase is 57. That's still below the league average. He's still not great.
I get it, but that's a big step.
Okay, does he want to get a 5th-year contract option picked up? Does he want a big money contract?
I like that.
Start playing like an NFL quarterback.
I think you're persuading me.
What would Baker Mayfield have? 71%
well,
last
he
year?
Ain't Baker
that's
Mayfield.
in a different stratosphere.
Yeah, we're talking about a Heisman winner.
10%.
But again, you don't, to Mark's point, you don't need Baker Mayfield.
No.
Like, with his big playability, assuming that is still there, I don't think the deep ball's been as effective as it usually is. You could live around upper 50s. Turnovers can't be there, though.
Right. All right, let's switch the topic. What is your biggest fear?
Oh, Lord.
Like, for me, it's
Should
snakes.
I go get on the couch?
I don't like snakes. I don't mind. I pet a snake before, but like you bring an anaconda or like a water moccasin or no, thank you. Hard pass on that. I think I am a little like Indiana Jones in that regard. I don't like snakes. That's where the similarities end usually. But
snakes actually aren't too bad for me. It's definitely heights.
So are you a nervous flyer then? Or
no, shockingly I'm not. But any sort of like, ledge, building. I remember we were in Niagara Falls, like just kind of looking over, and I'm like, yeah, luckily I'm 6'3". I can see down there from back here. I don't need to walk too close. So yeah, it's definitely heights. But yeah, Mark, flying has never been an issue for me. Even like super bad turbulence, it's not like the end of the world for me there.
I'm going to agree with Kevin. I am 100% both not comfortable being way up high, but flights don't bother me at all. And I don't know, there's probably some psychology study on that, but I'm right there with you. I don't like being near ledges way up above stuff.
Well, I'll tell you why flying doesn't scare me is because if I'm up there and something goes wrong, well,
it's the landing, not the flying.
I mean, hey, I don't have many options, but I'll probably say mine is water, like big bodies of water. I'm just like, man, whenever I see like a natural disaster or something like that, I'm like, wow, water is scary to me. There's a lot that we don't know about the ocean, and so I tend to try to keep, close to land or, stay away from areas where I can't see land. Yeah, I don't think I would ever do a cruise where I can't see actual land in front of me. I'm not saying anything's wrong with like going to the beach or something like that. But if I can't see any land, oh no, count me out.
Oh yeah, like Open Water, that movie.
Back
in the day.
Yeah, seriously, no. Jaws scarred me.
You think you get seasick on a cruise?
I'm not sure. I haven't been on a boat long enough to know if I'll get seasick.
I've never been on a cruise, but
cruise, that does not excite me. Or no, I don't want to go on a cruise.
I've always felt that way, but I did go with the family on a Disney cruise several years ago. In fact, right before COVID, we got the last day that we came into port was when they shut everything down. When they started shutting all the tournaments down and everything like that. I was surprised. I had a pretty good time.
Sounds like you were patient zero is what it just sounded like. You brought everything here.
No, and we were good.
One thing I thought was cool. Did you guys see like Michael Phelps and some other obviously staff members like help some of the Ravens that didn't know how to swim?
I did see that.
Learn how to swim the other day. I thought that was
what's crazy though?
really cool watching some of that video. Like I saw one of Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And for those curious, like Phelps is a huge Ravens fan. He's from the Baltimore area. So yeah, I thought that was cool.
So I saw that they had him and Ray Lewis speak to the team and give them motivational speeches, and I was like, wow, like talk about two guys that have done amazing things. And for Michael Phelps, he's like, yeah, I knew when I got up there, I was the most prepared swimmer in the world, and 23 Olympic gold medals later, I could say I was the best ever. And I'm like, 23 Olympic gold medals.
It's insane.
I'll never forget Beijing 08. Like going 8 for 8.
Comeback.
That might be the greatest athletic feat I've ever seen in my life.
I'll never forget the relay. Jason Lezak, if the name is right there in the final relay there.
And then do you remember his tap?
Oh,
like, my God. Like the you're not supposed to do the half swim, whatever stretch, and he did it anyway and broke like a cardinal sin of swimming in one. That was, I don't think I'll ever see an athletic feat that spectacular. And I think what added to it is because it only happens every 4 years. So if he had missed out, I mean, everyone was going to be disappointed if he went 7 for 8, which is crazy.
Last but not least, what are we watching?
Hey, judge me if you want. I think tonight might be a little new heights night in the Bowen household.
Oh, okay.
I Taylor Swift episode?
I said to Maddie last night, should we dial it up? So did you two, did it cut off? Did I see this correctly? It did not?
It crashed the stream, yeah.
There were 1.2 million in there at one point watching it live.
Insane. Taylor Swift on Travis Kelce's podcast for those that...
She was talking about cover 0, cover 4, cover 2.
Mm-hmm.
She said give her 16 months and she'll be ready to analyze games.
Shout out to Xavier Worthy. So now all of a sudden his stock's going up in fantasy football drafts here. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll new heights it up tonight.
I did love how she trolled the, probably misogynistic fans because she said, me and Travis do the same things. We go to NFL stadiums, we entertain people for 3 hours. And I was like, you know what? Respect. And she probably has more people in there than them.
Oh, yeah.
Stage's a lot smaller for, an artist.
That's on the watch list. We watched the first part of Wednesday, season 2. That's good. And then I started watching Alien Earth, which is the first series of the Alien movies. I was kind of intrigued by it. Very good.
Okay,
very,
I got to check that out. I saw that pop up. Is it on Prime, I think?
Hulu.
Because I am now, I just finished up Landman. That was fantastic. That show is hilarious. It's kind of deep. It's crazy. I thought the lead actor in it, and is it Billy Bob Thornton? Yeah. He was phenomenal in this show. I mean, just awesome acting. It's based out of like West Texas. Kind of gave me like Friday Night Lights vibes, but it's all about oil, and it is unlike anything I've ever watched. It was a great episode, or a great season actually, and I'm excited for season 2.
I just finished up a thing called Maison Close, and is probably because I came back from France and it looked interesting to me. It's about essentially a brothel in 1870s Paris, but it's really about power dynamics, and it was kind of interesting and fun to watch. I finished that up last night, so I'm looking for some. I may do the Paramount Plus Landman. You got me interested in that, and the clips that I've seen, I may go there tonight.
Yeah, I will vouch for that show. It is good. I might watch it again.
Watching brothel shows, now you're getting images in the text. This is all.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
The lead character was named Tracy.
Vera. Vera was the lead character. So there you go.
Mark, great work.
As always, he's the best. Mark Thankton. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan rolls on. We'll get to the text line coming up in a minute. Some pretty good questions and statements there. Doing it next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Most folks from this show are going to be out at Colts Camp, Grand Park, later on today. Last day out at Grand Park and last day for the public to see any kind of real practice. Moving forward, how much practice do you guys get to see out at West 56th each day?
This is the last full practice we'll watch, and then afterwards, when we move over to West 56th Street, over to the team facility, it's just stretching and attendance basically from there through the rest of the season.
So this is going to be your last full look, Kevin Bowen, for a while, and you just have to rely on what they tell you for practice moving forward, and that's just kind of how it works. So it'll be fun to see them going up against the Green Bay Packers later on today. Mark Dykton and Marchant's there. And people loving Mark Dykton, or as one texter says at 239-1070, Vacation Dykton. Derek says Vacation Dykton, as JMV calls him.
Yeah, he also said, my biggest fear is actually running out of PTO, which that might be actually, he might be right there. I got the sweats going when
when you asked me that,
comment.
I thought of the scene in Coach Carter. It was like, what's my biggest fear?
Mm-hmm.
My biggest fear is that we're inadequate. And we don't find out who we are. Who was that like? Was that Cruz? That was Cruz in the
I
movie.
haven't watched Coach Carter in
Oh, man.
probably a good decade.
Okay, so.
That is such a movie coach quote.
Yeah. No, you know what's funny about this movie to me? Because it's a comedy to me at this point. When I go back and watch it, I think he said something like they had to have like a 2.2 to like be eligible to play the team. You would have thought he asked these people that they kids that have 4.0s. He said, "Oh, you got to have a 2.2 to be eligible to play," and they lost their minds in this movie. That movie is a comedy to me.
This from Q
Yeah,
yesterday.
I saw this just
it
now.
was OnlyFans. Today it's brothels and not safe for work images. Is Jeff going through a midlife crisis, or is his wife on vacation?
Woo, you got some explaining to do.
Oh, my.
Yeah, see?
That's an interesting. I'm going to have to look at that, Q. That's an interesting observation. But again, I had nothing to do with the picture sent to me. Nothing. I was an innocent bystander.
Hey, just make sure you get that same explanation when you get home today. Now, if I walk in tomorrow and Jeff got a black eye, I won't be asking any questions, you know.
People want to know about the tight ends and Will Mallory, Kevin Bowen. What do we know there?
I think he's been one of the better players in camp, James. If I were making a list of, 5 or 10 of the best Colts in Grand Park, number 86, Will Mallory, the nephew of Bill Mallory, Kurt, I don't know. I should probably look up the Mallory family tree. But yes, he is part of that Mallory family tree. Played at Miami, ran the fastest 40 of any tight end at the combine a few years ago, year 3. I think he makes a team. I don't view him and Jelani Woods as a debate. I view Will Mallory as on the football team. More of a receiver than a blocker at tight end.
Jason wants to, he's just letting us know that he feels sorry for us having to suffer through the Colts quarterback situation for the next several weeks. Maybe they can talk Richardson into tight end. He can't play quarterback. Maybe he can catch.
He's not a serious person. And so, I'm curious to see when they name the starter. That's my biggest thing. But I get the joke, but no, Anthony is a quarterback, and he will remain a quarterback.
Here's one that says, Mark's biggest fear is having parental controls put on his Google searches.
Oh, I would fight whoever did that.
I was going to say, in fairness, you are not the one watching the brothel show.
No,
so
that's true.
That's
My
fair.
watch list is clean.
Yep.
As far as everybody knows.
I like that. What else do we have going on here? Jeff with a G says, if Richardson doesn't show up or show us he's the guy this year, then Ballard won't have to worry about picking up his 5th-year contract because he won't be here to make that decision, God willing. More and more people are falling into that camp.
Well, your 5th year, it's not like the 5th-year option goes away. Somebody's going to have to make that decision, whether it's Chris Ballard or whether it's a new GM. So, there might be some people, honestly, that view that as the most important thing of this entire 2025 season.
All right, that's what's going on as far as the Colts are concerned. We've got the schedule release later on today for the entire NBA. We know a couple of things about the Pacers already, which we've been talking about throughout the morning, but I think we all agree that the biggest thing we're looking forward today is when is Myles Turner coming back to town? That'll be a fun
I got to
day.
know. We will certainly have an answer for you tomorrow, and then I think it'll be on and popping.
Looking forward to that. Again, Jake Query comes your way at noon today, from noon to 3. And if you can't make it out to Grand Park, or you don't have the tickets to go up there, you can listen to JMB. He'll be up there from 3 to 6, and anything significantly happens up there, we'll report on it as soon as we have the opportunity to do so. So that'll take care of your entire broadcast day for you. Mark, great job out of you again today. Got to know. Did you learn some things, I hope?
Packers suck.
I figured
I already
that's what
knew
it
that,
would be.
but I'm always happy to know it.
All right. For Mark, Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, I'm Jeff Rickard, and this is the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Packers suck.